Good evening, everybody. We should be live across 2 Facebook channels and also the Beyond the Buy Box YouTube channel this evening. I know that we are out of our normal time and place, but we are doing so because we've got a very special guest tonight. Welcome, Mark. I know you're a massively busy man, so it took us a bit of to and fro-in to kind of make this this happen. So that's why we're kind of here on a Monday night at 7 o'clock. But we do appreciate you spending the evening with us.
That's no problem.
Yeah, good to have you here. Right, guys, can you let us know if you can see and hear us okay? I'm going to do my best to try and tune into the comments as we go. So if you are watching via Facebook, can you let us know that you can see and hear us okay? If you are watching via YouTube, can you let us know if you can see and hear us okay? So yes, we have someone brilliant, 2 legends. Appreciate that. We've got Chris has joined us. We've got Andy. I'm going to say hello to as many people. Let us know where you're watching from, guys. So we don't normally do a geographical round robin, but we will tonight in honor of our I know you're in Northeast, Mark, but whereabouts is that sort of where you are? I'm terrible.
I'm in the Northeast, yeah. Sorry, I'm in the Northeast.
Right.
I'm just shutting things down. Not far from Newcastle.
Not far from Newcastle.
Everyone who's Googled me and has looked at company's house and stuff for validation, they'll know exactly where I am, right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Someone says watching from boring Leicester. I don't think Leicester's boring. We've got Hemel Hempstead, very nice. Evening, guys, watching from Nuneaton. So we've got a few people from around the country, definitely. So thanks for joining us. Michael says I'm down the road from Mark in Teesside.
Michael, I think we might have spoken. I can't remember. It's just the chat from.
Yeah.
Where are you seeing the comments? No, I can't see any comments.
If you click on the
the left comments, right?
Where it says comments, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
then you should be able to see them there. Jake joined us. Chris is joining us from Cambridgeshire as well. So obviously I appreciate a lot of you have been looking forward to tonight. We've got some questions to go through. We're going to talk all things Amazon with Mark. We're also going to talk about a few challenges potentially that the most people are facing at the moment. And I think one of the most important things is, Mark is one of the biggest sellers, I certainly know in the Amazon space. And what we want to talk about in particular is not to talk about it from a scare point of view that, I've heard a lot of people talking lately and they're like, big sellers don't get Amazon problems and things like that. And, you don't get section 3s if you're you don't get this, you don't get that. But it doesn't matter if you sell £1 or 100 million, right? Amazon pretty much treats everyone the same.
100%. We were shut down 9:20 Friday.
Yeah.
Wasn't back live until Sunday. One of our Amazon UK accounts.
Yeah. So listen to that bombshell, guys. 9-figure seller shut down Black Friday. So there is, nothing to do with how big a seller you are, what you're doing, what you're selling, who you're working with. Now, what I will say,
you can see there, look at the drop.
Yeah, like 2 days are nothing. And
2 days are nothing, not even FBA, literally the lot. So any products in FBA still.
Yeah, it's
normally your FBA products will still sell.
Yeah.
On this occasion, the day of the strikes, us as well, gone.
Yeah, it's crazy. And what do you, we're just going to dive straight in there. We're going to come back and we're going to briefly talk about, for those of you that haven't had the opportunity to hear Mark speak before or know his kind of background, he's been a guest a couple of times on the former show, never mind the Buy Box. So, I would encourage anyone to go back and have a look at those videos previously before, especially the first interview that we ever did together. I think, that's where we started from the beginning and gave everyone, kind of history of Mark essentially in your business. So I would definitely encourage anyone to go back and have a look at that. So, but we will kind of go over that a bit tonight. But obviously, like I said, there is a lot of uncertainty. A lot of people are kind of a bit freaked out about selling on the Amazon space at the moment because there has been a lot of negative buzz. But I think the difference is where you've had this kind of issue, the difference is it can happen to anyone, but as you are the seller that you are, you tend to, because of the resources that you have and the relationship that you have with Amazon, you have an insight into Amazon where you're able to get it sorted and resolved a lot quicker than us mere mortals, right?
Well, I think it's just experience, right? The thing is, as I said, Amazon doesn't care who you are. And I like that because I think it does show they're transparent no matter what size seller you are.
Yeah.
They don't look into who's giving them the most commission every month. None of that. And I think that's pretty true. Yes, of course, if you've got Amazon account managers, you're a premium, platinum, super duper whooper seller, whatever. There's people you can reach out to, but even them often don't know how to handle it themselves. They'll tell you the same old usual nonsense stuff. Have you tried this? Have you tried that? And then you go back and you say, listen, I've been selling on Amazon for 20 years. We're not a normal seller. We kind of know what we're doing. And but it's right. You can reach out to some people, but there's no special treatment or anything.
No, because they've got to follow the same processes.
Every time I'm on these calls, if you play by the rules, we all make mistakes, you're fine. There is no risk to selling on Amazon than any other platform. Back in the day, they used to shoot from the hip a bit more and then ask questions later. Now I think they're quite lenient on things. And it takes a lot for you to get closed down. And there's always two sides to the story, right? And it's always Amazon being the bad guys. And to be honest with you, it's not, user error sometimes, systems, multiple IP logins from different countries around the world, bank accounts that don't match the name of the company. And there's lots of reasons and lots of things that happen. You just have to just play by the rules. Just keep your nose clean, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I can attest to that. We had our first suspension 6 months ago, earlier in the year, and it was a genuine mistake. We were linked to an account that we had no connection with whatsoever. And, because we followed the rules, we done everything right, it was resolved in 8 days. It's as simple as that. We followed the process. We didn't hassle them. We didn't do this. We were talking about this a little bit beforehand as well. Don't hassle Amazon too much, guys.
No.
Anyone that knows I'm under a Section 3 at the moment due to an investigation, inauthentic claims. Got nothing to worry about. No issue with where we bought the products or anything. I know it'll get resolved. It's going to take some time. Have no issue with that whatsoever. And I get people messaging all the time. Have you heard anything? Have you heard anything? Have you spoken to them? Have you done this? No, I've sent the documents in. I left it 3 days. I rang them up to check that they've received them, and that's it. And now I'm going to wait to hear from them. I'm just going to let the system try and sort itself out. I was talking to Daniel earlier, who I know is going through the same thing as me. And just before we literally came on, he said he spoke to them earlier and it's been moved to a different team or something like that. And maybe that might be a bad thing because they're looking at the whole supply chain now as opposed to something else. But my answer to that is actually, if it's now gone to a dedicated team, surely that's a better thing, because you've got a whole dedicated team that's going to be, looking at it, as opposed to someone that may be dealing with a Section 3 suspension due to fraudulent documents 1 minute, and then dealing with a different type of Section 3 and then a different. Sure. Yeah, I much prefer if it's being dealt with by a specialist team.
100%. I think that's what it is as well. I mean, we all know these algorithms and AI and responsive messages, the same thing. I had one and I had to go back to them. I screenshot the Amazon terms to say why we should be back on already.
Yeah.
Because the first message was, oh, we're looking into it, this, that, and the other. Well, whilst you're waiting for a bank account verification, nothing's changed. Amazon does state you can continue selling, you just can't withdraw funds.
Yes.
So therefore, switch me back on. Right? And then they did. So sometimes you just have to spell it out for them. It's just experience is what it is. I mean, we could talk about all platforms, eBay, I cut my teeth on eBay, and I've learned all the lessons the hard way with eBay. Play by the rules.
Yeah, I think if you've been in the game for a certain amount of time, you have a certain amount of war wounds, you have a certain amount of bruises. You know, it is one of those things. But before we get too much into it, I want to say hello to a few people. I just saw Tom Parkinson. He was live a minute ago, and now he's joined us.
Ah,
So
Tom.
here he is. So hi, Tom. Yeah, welcome, welcome. I know that you've been up to see Mark in person, so great to have you here. We got Matthew, we got Cindy, we've got loads of people that have joined us. Really appreciate you being here. We're going to dive deep into, well, as much as Mark will allow us to dive deep in, you know,
whatever.
into
I've got a free pass tonight, so it's fine.
Oh, got a free pass. Brilliant. What I want to do is, I was talking to Mark about this earlier because, Mark, you have such a massive business. And I do want to go back to the start a little bit. But at the same time, I want to keep this relatable for everyone as well, because, you know, you have, we joke about you being the beast, and, you know, you have built this beast of a business, an empire that is continuing to grow year on year. Someone made the comment earlier, you know, last time you were on here, you're an 8-figure seller. Now you're a 9-figure seller. Wow. You know, that growth is explosive. But I want to keep this relatable to everyone because, in all honesty, not everyone can do what Mark has done. Not everyone will want to do what Mark has done, but it doesn't take away from the core of mindset, having the right attitude to business, taking action. Those are the kind of areas that I want to focus on and deliver real value for people tonight who are listening to this. So I don't want anyone to switch off thinking, well, I don't want to build a 9-figure business. I don't want to build a £1 billion business. I don't want to do this, so I'm not going to listen. I want people to be able to take something away, which I'm absolutely sure they will be able to. It's funny now, Mark, there are still people now who, when I first interviewed you 3 or 4 years ago, still now say, I remember that interview that you did with Mark, and that inspired me in this way, or it caused me to do that. So it's absolutely phenomenal. So that's what I want the value in tonight for people. So we're going to keep it real.
That's the thing. And no one cares about the size of the business, right? And it's just about how and what do you want, right? And it's the same principles which we can go into. But I would recommend people go back and watch them videos. I think I was speaking to Matthew Wright one night on text, and I was listening to him, watching him, and I was thinking, God, this guy makes sense, right? You know, I kind of forgot that it was me. And it was like, and then I was like, oh, this has changed, that's changed. I've done this. I said I wasn't going to do that, but I've done this. Do you know what I mean? So even I've changed what I said I wouldn't do and what I have done. What I think we'll go off on tangents, but one was I'm not going to buy properties to let and this, that, and the other. But I did. Do you know what I mean? It's like you just got to be prepared to adapt and change. But cool.
Yeah, mine was exactly the same. I spent 2 years saying everyone I wasn't going to get back into reselling. I wasn't going to, you know, do arbitrage. Then I got FOMO, jumped back into it. Then got, you know, where we are now because it facilitated certain things. You can never say never, and I think that's the biggest lesson I've certainly learned over the last couple of years, and especially when you go on the record doing it as well, guys. So I've learned never to say never, especially now what I do on the record, because someone will say, do you remember when you said you weren't going to do that?
Right? You just it's just amazing. Every day is a school day, right? And sometimes you just don't overcommit, right? Just I'll never do that.
Keep it loose, keep it cool. And do you know what? Just before we move on and maybe go back a little bit further, are there times when, I'm just going to ask this straight off the back, I was going to save this question for later. Are there times where you've maybe regretted, or, you know, maybe thought, I didn't mean to grow this business as much as I have to the beast it has become? Because I remember, you know, different place of a few years ago, you had massive ambitions to get it to a certain level. But am I right in saying that even you have exceeded your own expectations?
I don't know, right? It's a difficult thing. I speak to my wife, she'll tell you that, well, she's just I'm not saying she's complaining, but she's just, it's too big, right? As
Yeah.
in, I mean, not that she's here, right?
Yeah.
But it's just because as we grow, it's all things are getting easier, things will get better. We've got more people, we've got better talent, which is some of the questions I think Johnny was asking. But it's not, is the truth. I don't regret it. I mean, I never really had a target in my. I have one now. This hashtag 250, right? Why not? We will go into that, but I've never, just like you say, see how it goes, right? It's hard because you shouldn't really measure turnover. I keep saying that. No one cares about revenue, right? The good thing is our margins are okay, but be careful what you wish for. But you do need targets, and that's something we can go on to. Had a conversation with our sales director. We've now got like a global sales director, and we was talking about, not about targets, but I just said to him, just hold this thought. You're only 5 doubles away from X revenue, right? So if you're doing 100, you want to do 200, to do 200, do 400, 400, 800. It's as simple as that. So, so forget my revenue and scale it back to yourself. If you're doing £100 a week or a month on Amazon, you've only got to get to 200, then 200 to 400, 400 to 800, 800 to 1.6k. It's easy. It's as easy. That's all it is. 4 or 5 doubles to wherever you want to go. So if you're making, I think we've had this conversation before. There's a few people asking for the links for the previous videos, which will get put in the comments. But if you make £5 a day,
hopefully Cindy can find them.
just make £10 a day. It's honestly, it's at that level, it's easier to double than it is at my level. But then is it? Because if you're a certain size, you attract more partners. And, if you're working with some of the top FTSE 100 companies, then the others will be thinking, maybe I should work with this guy. It's not as straightforward as that. There's a lot to it. That's probably another video. But that's the method, right? Just do more. Just do more. Just think better. But then cash flow can be a problem. It's all different problems, no matter. I say this to my accounts department. It's just another zero, whether you're doing 100 or 1,000, right?
Yeah.
That's all it is. And cash flow is the key thing, more than anything.
Yeah.
So how much stock you have. You've seen my warehouses. I mean, Matthew Wright was here. We went into some stuff live, proofs in the pudding. That's just one warehouse. We're now in the UK, Germany, France, Italy, Poland, soon the US. Well, we're in the US, but I wouldn't say we've started. We use a third party in Spain called Celeritas, if anyone's ever interested in a good 3P partner in Spain. The reason we've not got our own warehouse in Spain yet is we're just checking if the revenue's there and the margin's there before we open our own hub.
It's a funny market, Spain. It should be better than it is, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm just more keen because it's warmer weather, right? So it's better place to visit.
Business expenses to Spain, for sure.
Yeah, but honestly, so then back to what you were saying, do I regret? No. But being the CEO and all that nonsense, 5, 6, 7 countries to deal with. But luckily, I've got country managers in each country. We've got a global sales that we're now building a board like a big company. So you've got your chief finance officer, you've got your technology officer, you've got me, and so on and so on. And then there's more of you to grow the business and run the business. So that's later on.
Yeah, and I was going to say, does it? Yeah, I don't want to jump ahead too much, but does it get with all those people? And I know it was a question that Johnny alluded to, and something. This is like question 8 and where I wanted to go. So sorry, guys. I'm just going with the flow of the conversation. Is when you've built that team and you've got that talent and you've made those key kind of appointments in your business. Most of us will be thinking, well, yeah, do you know what? It must be pretty easy by now if you've got a finance manager that's doing the cash flow and you've got a head of recruitment that deals with those things, that maybe the bedroom bandit, the one-man band has to, put all those different hats on. So is it easier, or do you have to be better because you have to then communicate with all these people? You have to work.
You're managing different people, right? High level people on high salaries. And I still find mistakes in their work. You're going to, because no one knows the business like you, right? And I think the key thing is to always employ people that are better than you in certain areas. I'm just lucky that I'm good in lots of areas. And then it's finding people that are better than you in certain areas. But, we're all human. Everyone still makes mistakes. And my job now is more of managing them stakeholders, but then the vision and the future and the planning and this whole make 1 or 2 big key decisions. So for instance, I might put a picture on about the new premises that we're moving into, hopefully around March time. We're just going through legals, due diligence, and that's a big job. But it's something I'm used to, commercial contracts and things. So when we have an operations director on the board, then I guess that's the kind of thing he would probably handle. But
that's your background contracts, right? So would you?
Yeah, well, I
would you
specialise
let
in
that
complex
go?
SIPs and stuff, but I'm nowhere near up to date on this stuff anymore. So we've got lawyers who deal with it, but I know that I can negotiate the terms. But regards to due diligence, and we've got surveyors who do the check the building and everything else, because if there's a problem with a roof, you're liable for it once you've signed the lease. And
yeah, of course.
And a roof on a building like this, like £2 million, right? So
Yeah.
you're not worrying about it now, but in 10 years' time, it could be a big bill, right?
But you know what? What I find really interesting is the level of conversation. And like I said, I wanted to keep it relatable. I wanted to keep it real. But the level of conversation that we're having actually is just what you were talking about. You're just like 5X's away from it's not just revenue, but in everything else. Like if my roof went on my warehouse, which of course I would have to, it's not going to be £2 million, but it might be, 20,000 or something.
Whatever,
200 grand, or whatever it is. So it's the same level, same problems. It's just another zero. That's
about it. It's like employing 10 people, then 20, and so on. Everyone knows what they're doing. Everyone knows what they're doing. So a warehouse, doesn't matter what the size is, it's still the same process.
And it's hassle for everything. Matt had to deal with it. Was it today or had to deal with on Friday? I mean, you think at this sort of level, and if you've been in business this long, you don't have to deal with this rubbish, and you do. It's like we got a phone call from the council to say that they were possibly going to repossess something because we hadn't been paying our council tax or the business rates. And of course we had. But it's just an administration error. You know what I mean? And then you have to spend ages and you have to submit the evidence and you have to do this and you have to do that. And, I don't think it ever gets any easier. If anything, it can get more complicated.
Nothing's never a good day. You'll put something in the diary and then before you know it, bang, it's happened and then you're committed. So the thing is, as you get bigger, you do have people who deal with other stuff like, I don't know. Well, paying bills is a big one, right? I don't even log into the bank. Things like, I guess, back onto what you're saying about bills, council tax, business rates, water rates, whatever. People deal with all of that stuff, but there's other stuff to deal with, right? There's bigger stuff to deal with. Legal challenges, stakeholders, and so on, which we'll go on to. And be careful what you wish for. I mean, I had a conversation with a young gentleman earlier today about, I want a big business and I want this and I want that and I want to do this and I want to do that. And it's like, be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we're doing really well as a business, but there's been sacrifices and we'll go into it. So maybe we go back to the start then, I guess.
Exactly. That's where I was going to take us to. So we've got Sean's joined us. Thanks, Cindy. Really appreciate Cindy has put the first and the second video. And I think out of all of them, if you're going to pick, watch the first one because I love that kind of, it's like a Wolverine kind of story. It's the origin story before you kind of move into the X-Men, essentially. I think that's the best way to put it, of course. But like I said, let's go back because what I do want to make relatable as well. And someone made this comment maybe a couple of days ago when we were talking about it, about it's all very well 9-figure this and 9-figure that, and you started with 200. I put stuff in comments, guys, as a hook to try and get you to watch.
It's true.
Things like this, of course. But at the end of the day, I want to make this relatable. You did start with an Iffy credit card, not Iffy like as in, one of those that had probably like 1,000% APR, and you started with RA. This is where you started with, right?
I still love it now. I've told you before the stories. I mean, now I don't do it. I'll be honest with you, I don't do it. I'm tempted to get my kids doing it, to be honest. But I don't want to ruin their childhood, right? That's the only reason I'm not doing it. My son, he does all these like YouTube videos and shorts, no, TikTok, sorry, right?
Yeah.
And some of them have got like 20, 30, 40,000 views on it. Yes. And he doesn't know that he can make money from that. And I'm not going to tell him about it.
Yeah.
I want him to enjoy what he's doing.
Yeah.
And then I'll tell him when he's ready.
Yeah. And that's so true. My son started a TikTok account and his first video got 3.5 million views.
Wow.
And he's 13, he's just turned 13. And there's part of you that's thinking, wow, he's super talented. He's going to do this and but at the end of the day, the more you learn about TikTok, your first couple of videos tend to do pretty well anyway. That's how they kind of hook you.
We'll put TikTok on the list. We can talk about TikTok. I'll just add that then.
TikTok is definitely something I'm more and more interested in, and I'm learning more and more about. And I didn't think I would. Again, there's probably a video of me 3, 4, 6 months ago saying, I'm not interested in TikTok. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. But like literally, I am really interested in TikTok now. It's kind of floating my boat and, one I want to look at. But someone said, I think we need an episode for the 13-year-olds. Yeah, exactly. But you were green, but, behind the gills, essentially. Started in RA, started selling by mistake with an Iffy credit card. And, how long ago was that, Mark?
I don't know. I've done e-commerce for, I don't know, 20. I mean, I know I only looked 32, but I'd say I've done e-commerce from being 17. 17, and I'm 45 now. Yeah. It's never been so easy. This is someone's, I can't remember the chap's name, but I had a couple of minutes on one of the trains, so I replied to his messages about, it must have been easy on Amazon then. None of this was easier. It's never been so easy to sell on Amazon. It's made up. I mean, these websites that you can do on Wix and all this other crap for like £5 a month. We was writing websites with HTML, right? No one was buying online. So yeah, Amazon's amazing. They are sometimes difficult or can be seen to be difficult, but you just got to think about the good that they've done, right? I'm not sponsored by Amazon. I wish I was. I do prefer eBay because you can do what you want. But yeah, so it started. I was buying from Tesco's 3 for 2s because it was cheaper than buying from the distribution channel that I was buying from. Wife was heavily pregnant. When we started this business, I mean, obviously I've been doing it for a long time before that, just buying from distribution, selling on eBay. Amazon didn't exist, etc. And then just did what I tell everyone to do and how to do it. Just speak to people. Don't do what everybody's doing. Everyone's trying to buy the same stuff all the time, and then they cry that the buy box is being reduced and so on. And I mean, we can probably do 2 hours on repricing tools, right? It's my favorite subject. But yeah, I mean, at some point you just need to then grow up, right? Is what I call it. You then start buying from distribution. And then I thought buying from distribution just doesn't work. Doesn't work for me at my scale. So then I buy from manufacturer. I don't buy from distribution. I don't buy from anyone other than the manufacturer with the manufacturer. That's the difference. So yeah, people can start crying in the group and saying, well, it's easy for you and this, that, and the other. It isn't easy. And you have to have something to build on. And you have to have that mindset of buying from distribution is a great thing. Don't get me wrong. But we all see the challenges on Amazon when manufacturers get involved with guys like me, because it's a different plan, right? It's a different game. There's a huge opportunity for everybody to do what I'm doing on a smaller scale. And when I say a smaller scale, 2 million, 3 million, 5 million, 10 million revenue. There's lots. Every month, I'm blown away speaking to manufacturers that are in touch with us that don't even sell to Amazon or even sell on Amazon. And I'm talking huge companies that want to, right? Don't even know how to. Every month, honestly, you'll think I can't mention names, but they're huge, historic brands as well. And it's because some of these brands are old school and you know, what works, and they believe in distribution, and they believe in wholesalers and resellers and stuff. But obviously that doesn't work from a strategy point of view. So anybody who thinks it's harder now, it's nonsense. It could be harder from the fact that you now can't do your daily drawdowns and this, that, and the other. But that's just business, right? If you're getting paid every 2 weeks, it's not a bad thing. Everybody, even myself, is getting switched over to the...
Yeah, can I ask you how you're going to handle that?
Well, luckily, we've built up cash reserves. Is it
Yeah.
going to hurt us? Yes, of course it's going to hurt us.
Mhm.
But it's like invoice factoring in the olden days. It only hurts you for that first 30 days, right?
Yeah.
And every day you get over it. But it's annoying that Amazon's going to hold, and it's millions for us. And then they got the cheek to then offer to lend you your own money back, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
we've got
You can
Amazon
have it sooner, but you got to pay for it.
Yeah. I was showing Matthew, right, the limits and stuff that we've got access to and things, but you're borrowing your own money back, right? Is it a scam? Listen, I understand why Amazon do it. Sometimes people think nowadays, I've changed my tune. I'm all for Amazon. But when you get these poor sellers, without stereotyping, who could sell 500 iPhones in 3 days and then clear off and draw on the money down, it protects everybody.
Yeah.
But you would think a long-term seller like us, with proper shareholders agreements and everything else, we would be able to download every day. But they don't, because it's the same rules for everybody.
Yeah.
So there's another point, that doesn't matter who you are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I've heard this argument so many times, and just to clarify for people, because there are probably people listening to this that have got no idea what we're talking about. So if you had an Amazon account post 5 years, possibly 6 years ago, I would say now, then sorry, pre, not post, pre 5-6 years ago, what you were able to do is you were able to draw down on your whole balance, like your whole balance in your account, every 24 hours. So I know some people say, well, I've got same day disbursement. Yeah, you have, but only after 14 days or 7 days. Whereas I've got an account like that. Mark had an account like that. Matthew Wright's got an account like that. Luke Dugan, a few other people have got accounts like that where you can do it. And the argument for many a person is anyone that's coming in, it's unfair that people, everyone should have the same rules, essentially. And
you've got to earn some things, though, right? You know what I mean? That's the other thing as well, is you've earned the trust of Amazon to draw down every day, right? I think at one point we could draw down more than once a day. That was a test they was doing to stop that, because I think there's this whole thing of Amazon building their own bank and things, a bit like Tesco's did and them. But you sometimes, it's not fair, right? But that's just life. You should have got in it 5-6 years ago. You've got to earn it, right?
Yeah, and the argument is at that time, and this is what I said to anyone, that you've had 5-6 years, or anyone else has had 10 years head start before that. So, and they have now give adequate warning. I think, what is it? They pulled it back.
January, I think.
So yeah, they pulled it back because there was a bit of hoo-ha, and it was like, guys, we're changing this from next month with no warning. And yeah, but now I think they basically they changed it to around 6 months and given people the opportunity now to correct it. My argument is, if you can't correct it in that period of time, you should have been taking action, 4 months ago. If you're waiting up until the 31st of January in order to make those changes, you're going to get caught out. Cash flow is going to bite you in the arse.
It's bad for us as well. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's be careful what you wish for, but again, it's how you deal with it. Mindset. Just figure it out.
Yeah.
I mean, we're quite lucky we don't have any borrowing or anything as such at the moment, but we're going to have to if we want to grow more. We're going to have to. It's a fact. I mean, I had borrowing when I was younger, but yeah, you just turn that stock quick. Turn that stock quick. I mean, I know there's
margins. Do you think margins are going to have to be affected in your business for 60 days or something in order to catch up and increase the spend?
No, that's the least of problems. The thing is, everyone's had price increases, right?
Yeah,
but the selling price is not going up, right? In theory, it should. But the problem with Amazon is this competitive pricing. So you can't necessarily put the price up, because if you do, then you just lose the buy box.
Yeah, of course.
So you've just got to get on it.
And it comes with a policy violation now as well, which it never used to, of course. It's not one that's going to massively impact on account health, but, now that pricing violation is if you are in that compounding effect of totting up all of the...
I know how Amazon's algorithm works with pricing and stuff. That basically what they do is they look at all the big sellers, Boots, Superdrug, everybody, and if Superdrug's on offer, then your competitive pricing will be the same, right?
Yeah,
that's just how it is. You have to wait for them to go off deal, and so on. I mean, obviously we're well into all this kind of politics and tactics and things and stuff, but yeah, I mean, that's the good thing about the UK, right? People can sell for what they want to sell for, right? So yeah, it's annoying if you've paid £5 and someone's selling it for £6. Just they might have bought it cheaper, or they might be bidding the stock off. But then that's a case of, do you hold or do you flush it through? But you just, in my opinion, you should work on an average. Forget, I've said this before, ROI, no one cares about. No one cares. Cash margin is what matters.
Yeah.
And even if you can make £1, if you've got the cash flow and you make £1 an item, but you do 10,000 items a day, it's £10,000.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that's the beauty of this now, and how people can build their business. You've got so many different options where you can build the high volume, lower margin. You can build higher margin, lower volume. You can build something
Do
with
what you
staff.
want.
You can be a bedroom bandit. That's
Less
the
work,
beauty of it now.
higher price. I don't like high ticket price items myself.
No.
Never really done it. I mean, I've kind of got a rule in my business now that we don't touch anything with a plug.
Yes.
However, some of the manufacturers we're working with want us to.
Yeah.
So we probably will, but we'll make sure we've got a really tight, contract returns agreement with them, and this, that, and the other. It's going to be tough. I guess this will all come into these questions, but 2024 is going to be tough.
That was a question from Sean. Let me sure. Touch base with people, actually, because we've had quite a few comments. Thanks for watching, guys. You are staying with us, so we really appreciate it. We've had loads of people. Someone asked the question, I think it was Boom, about how something in Ahmed's group, and it's been deleted. Would you mind posting it in the Beyond the Buy Box group and just tagging me in it, and then I'll have a look, because I can't go into specifics on here about how to get certain brand approval and things like that. That's not why we're here for this live, but yeah, if you post it in the group and tag me in it, then I'll make sure I answer that for you. One of the questions Sean asked was, what do you think? What is the next year going to be like? And I have heard the doom and gloomers, talking about, and I don't class you as a doom and gloomer. I think you're a realist, Mark, at the end of the day. And I've heard people saying it's going to be the worst year, it's going to be this, and it's going to be that. With the greatest of respect to the doom and gloomers, people have been saying that for a really long time. And yes, it's going to be true at one point. But what is it you think is going to be? What is it why is it going to be such a tough year?
It's basics, right? So cost of buying products from manufacturers is higher. Shipping prices are not going to drop down, and the selling price, unfortunately, is not increasing at the same rate. It's as simple as that.
You think this is the year that the price increases, but the manufacturing cost hasn't caught up?
It's always caught up, but I think the manufacturers have passed it on and sellers have absorbed it, right? I don't know if everyone will probably say the same, but I know that my revenue's higher, but our percentage margin's lower. Yeah. But then there's a reason for that. We knew it would be, because we've strategically been employing lots more people, bigger premises for capacity and these other things. But it's not rocket science. Shipping prices are going to go up. Online selling prices are not going up at the same rate they should be, and people buy more for the goods. This is not even taking into consideration everyone's got less to spend and this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
So what are people going to do about it? Well, sell products that people need, right? That's the main thing. That ain't going to go away. There's bigger things to worry about. But everybody's in the same situation. So there's no point crying. Everybody's in the same situation, right?
Yeah. And would you say that's what I mean? It's just respective of that.
Yeah.
Everyone's
be on the right side of the coin. That's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Do more.
Yeah.
Do more. Instead of fucking around on Facebook and all this other stuff, just do more. Just do more. Just do more.
So do you think this is, because I really do think we've been in a golden generation, you know, for the last few years, especially post-COVID, you know, we've been in that kind of, COVID, and then for a year or so after that, a golden generation of e-commerce, and how not easy it is to do it, but how easy it is to get started, and you know, it's so easy now.
COVID, right? If it wasn't for COVID, you probably wouldn't have fast tracked more buyers on Amazon.
Oh yeah, and I do think a lot of the COVID kind of sellers have probably fallen off by now, or they're about to, certainly.
Yeah, but the COVID buyers haven't. The COVID
buyers haven't. Absolutely, the sellers.
Just stick in with it.
Yeah. So when you say it's going to be a tough year and do more, would your advice be, and this is what I'm getting from it, so tell me if I'm wrong, that you're gonna have to work harder to get the same results, or you're gonna have to work harder in order to increase, as opposed to you can't just expect to sit back and have things come to you. You're gonna have to go out and get it now.
Yeah, both. You're just gonna have to just be on it, is the thing.
Yeah. And if you're not up for the fight,
a lot of people's got away. A lot of people's got away with a lot of stuff, right? That's the truth, right? Just by putting up a crap listing, selling it, you're gonna have to just be the best. Be the best every day. How can I be the best? Not the biggest, but just the best.
Do you know, I absolutely love that. It's part of what we teach in the Hive, and anyone that's a Hive member will be able to attest that. Like I always say, it's never necessarily about what you're doing and what Amazon will allow you to do, because so many people will come to me and they'll say, yeah, but I've seen a listing and they've done this and they're selling it and it's absolutely fine, and they're not doing what you say. And I say, yeah, that's fine, they'll get away with it for so long, but Amazon will catch up to them. Competitors will catch up to them. If you can be the best that you can be in what you're doing, then you're always going to stay ahead of the competition. So I'm so glad that you validated that, essentially, because that is 100% what I preach all day long. I'm like, be the best version of yourself, and be proud of the work and your output of what you're doing, because it will keep you ahead of the competition.
I'm just there to win. It's a game, right? I just want to be the best every day, be better. It don't have to be the biggest. It depends on how you're measuring it, but everything needs to be the best.
And who do you benchmark that against? Yourself, or
not anyone really? It's just common sense, right? However, I did go and visit a company who are, and I met with the founder of the company actually. This company does what I do, but different. They handle more D2C type, .coms and stuff. Don't do marketplace, don't do Amazon, don't do eBay, any of that. And they're a £2.2 billion business.
Wow.
When I was on the top of this mezzanine in one of their warehouses, which is 6.5 times the size of the one I'm taking on in the next
where do they get these spaces? There's no spaces like that in Bournemouth?
Well, this was in the middle of the country. I won't say where it was, but I felt like just energized and shaky and thinking, I'm just pissing about. Do you know what I mean? I looked at this setup. Mind you, they're floated. They've got investment from PLCs and shares and everything else over years. And I've known this company for a long time. We used to sell to them deal stock, right?
Wow.
But I was with the founder, and I'm surprised he's still even in it, right? And we was there to look at their tech and their automation, and they invited me down and said, look, come and have a look. We'll show you what we're doing, right? And like I said, 2.2 billion, I think their revenue is.
Wow.
And he was good. He knew about my business. He knew about me, and he knew about my balance sheet and all these other things. And, it was good conversation, just an open. This guy was such a normal guy as well. But I came back from there pumped, like.
Yeah.
So maybe that's a benchmark, right? But it isn't, because I'll be honest with you. Well, who knows?
I love it. Colin says, "Damn it! I told you I'd forget." Sorry, I got so caught up, Colin. I didn't mind, but you're here now. That's the most important thing. I can absolutely imagine. I can see that Johnny Smith is watching. He will be absolutely, the fact that you're talking about automations and stuff that's going on in the warehouse. He will be.
Oh yeah, we're looking at
you.
putting the same system that's in Ocado is what we're putting into our new place.
Johnny will be messaging you later. He loves all that stuff. I've got no doubt about it whatsoever. But it's so interesting to hear that you have that level of ambition, and even with your level of success, which is extraordinary, which you've achieved now, that you still get excited and, get that mind buzz from, hearing it from someone else.
Well, it's my hobby, this, right? That's the thing. That's the problem with some people. It's just they're trying to make a few quid, and doing nothing about it, and just everything's against them. Everyone's against them.
Yeah.
And that's not the case. What I say on these calls with you guys is anyone can make £5 a day, £10 a day. It's 300 quid a month. I remember in the days it used to be an Audi, right? I mean, it's not an Audi anymore, is it? 300 quid a month, I don't think. But it's that easy, right? How many cars do you need to wash? 2 cars, probably 1 car a day now, 10 quid, I don't know. So it's easy to make money, right? Is it scalable? There's all these things. But just have a bit about you and just have a plan. And yeah, some people in the group, oh, well, I wouldn't want to do this, I wouldn't want to do that. You probably wouldn't, but you probably couldn't neither. Do you know what I mean? That's the other thing as well. You need some luck. You're going to need investment. You can't get this size without investment. You're going to need to store cash in stock and sacrifice going to Jamaica every year and all that kind of stuff. I've done all of that. That's the truth.
Because I was really surprised when we spoke a couple of weeks ago, because I know you to be someone who is, like I said, chained to your desk. You're really hard to pin down, from a, and this is a complimentary point of view, not, sort of like saying, oh, Mark, can't get hold of you, that type of thing, because you're workaholic. You work all the time. And, you've made those sacrifices to it. But when I spoke a couple of weeks ago, you were like, I'm on a holiday with the family.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? You're actually having a holiday?
In the sun for a week. And do you know what? I'm not one of the who found people where I'm not taking my mobile phone, all that kind of nonsense, right? And I probably get that. But I think I opened my laptop once, maybe twice, for 10 minutes for something that I needed to deal with. That I don't even think it was work related. I can't remember. Whilst I was in there, I had a quick glance. Don't get me wrong, I've still got the Seller Central apps on my device, but because I'm building a good team of people, I knew the place wasn't going to burn down. I knew the orders was going to come in. It wasn't going to go out. Was everything going to be perfect? Everything's not going to be perfect, right? And even with me, right? But you then at some point need to just trust people to get on with things. And I think I've grown up a lot in the last 18 months where I stay in my lane.
Yeah.
Like I don't go in the warehouse and start changing things. I might drop hints and ideas that I do this, and then they might happen or they might not, and then eventually I might just say we need to do this if I feel we need to, but very rare. I'm just here now for I guess this goes on to some of the stuff Johnny was asking, guidance. I think guiding my people as if they're new people and new sellers and everything else, but I hate all that term, the vision and all that kind of crap, but it's about right, where we're going, how we're going to get there, what we're going to do, what's going to be the challenges, and predicting stuff before it happens.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing. It's kind of like an insurance policy in a way.
But you don't hedge all your bets, right? So, you've talked about it being a tough year. You've got the challenge facing with the disbursements that you're going to have to deal with. You're dealing with different countries, different economies, introduction of a new warehouse. You've got loads of different challenges, right? But you're not going to put all of your eggs in one basket and say, right, I'm going to make the prediction based on this, because you've got so many different challenges that you're facing all the time. So you won't put all those eggs in one basket, right?
No, and it's just a case of just do more when those are doing less, right? No one would be taking on these premises They've been empty for so long. But if I don't take them, there's no warehouses in this area of that size. In theory, it's 18 months too soon, but I know I can manage it. You know, it's took me 3 months. Back 1 minute it's on, then it's off, backwards and forwards. I'm going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Thrashing it out, speaking to other people, advice, and then I just sat down and did the basic maths, and then we did detailed things, and thought, you know what, it's expensive. It's going to hurt us, but then that's investing again. It's like a £12 million investment over the term of the lease, you know, and if we don't, what's the consequences? We're going to need to fight. We're going to need to move anyway. So the place will be, best we can get is twice the size we've got. So we'll be moving again. Yeah. And it's like, it costs us like 150 grand to move now. You've got rate stamp duty on these big premises, like 100k, legal fees. We've got 3,000 pallets in these smaller warehouse that Matthew came to. That's a lot of truckloads just to move it, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's probably going to cost you 200 grand just to move. You don't keep doing that every year.
So this move that you're doing now, that's going to hit you in March next year, which by your own admission, coming into a tough year next year, that is a leap of faith, right? That is to get, will that take you to the 250, do you think?
No, not in, I mean, well, no, because we'll need a bigger warehouse in Germany as well. This 250 is combined, right? Not just
combined
the UK.
With all the marketplaces, yeah.
I mean, I think we could do, it depends, right? Because back in the day, just in time ordering, but there's no such thing because supply is really bad. So you need to store more than what you would normally store. So you're always limited by your capacity, but it will help. What definitely. I mean, yeah, it will help, but we'll need to move into bigger warehouse. We've already got a second warehouse in Italy now. So, and then the US. I mean, I'm not even including the US in this hashtag 250 because that could just blow it all out of the water, right?
Well, that would, you know, market's 10 times bigger than Germany. Yeah, exactly. So at the end of the day, I think you're not even talking hashtag 250. You'll be talking hashtag 1.25. You know,
that's the question: do I know how to run a 250 million pound business? No, I don't. I'll figure it out, and I'm going to need some pretty good people, right? And we've got some really good people. But again, it's just another zero, right? It's just another warehouse in another area. So anyone who says they can't do it, they can do it. I mean, you get other issues like regulatory issues and other stuff as you get bigger, right? But it's not that difficult from back to working from your shed.
No.
Anyone who runs their own house, wages in, bills out. That's running a business.
And do you know what I find really, really interesting is, and like I said, this whole thing about the holiday, when you really surprised me a few weeks ago when you said don't contact me for a week, I'm away with the kids, because like I said, 2 years ago when we had probably our last public conversation, it was very much, you know, that wasn't really happening at that time because of where you were within the business. But what I find really interesting now is, and this is where, again, I want to bring it back and make it relatable from people. I could be wrong. Again, correct me if I am, or if I'm not, but you don't work any harder than you did now to when, you know, your business was doing like $1 million. You work the same amount of hours in the day, right? Just different challenges.
Yeah, different stuff. I mean, I'm not packing orders now.
No, of course, but
that's
different stuff.
Not that long ago.
We're working the same.
Expensive orders, right? But we've done lots of things, like we work 24/7, 4 on 4 off shift, 7 days a week. So why? Because lots of reasons. And just be the best. Who else is doing that? This is what I'm saying. It's how can you be different in everything that you do? It doesn't work for everybody else. Some people can't be a prime seller now if they can't ship on a weekend and stuff. So, but just get serious, save some cash up, and then take that leap.
Amazing. So I just want to again dial it back for people, because this was actually asked earlier about, you know, your actual business. For anyone that, you know, this is a quick recap of Mark essentially. So, you know, started from very humble beginnings, you know, into 9-figure seller. You know, started with reselling, RA, And then I'm really condensing this, guys. You know, you tested the market from an RA point of view. You went up the supply chain to the distribution through wholesalers, thought this isn't really going to work for me. There's not the profit in it at the level. Like you said, you grew up in that period of time and you found your niche, which again, like I said, which I don't think you mentioned at the time, but obviously I know this, I know your history is, you know, part of your history and part of your experience in what you do is negotiation, contracts, you know, buying and that type of thing. But you utilize that experience to be able to say, okay, I'm not going to stay here in this part. And you worked your way up the supply chain to, you know, the top of the tree, essentially. And like I said, now you don't deal with anyone that is not the manufacturer of the products that you sell.
Nope.
So that's where we're at, guys. So if anyone thinks, what's the difference between me buying from Tesco's now and Mark in that situation? If I buy from Tesco's, you know, I am buying, well, Tesco's is buying direct from manufacturers.
I'm buying from the same place Tesco's buys from.
Yeah, exactly. So this is what I mean. You're dealing with. So if I'm buying from Tesco's, Mark's buying from the same person that Tesco's is buying from, I can't compete with you. You know, I can't compete with you from a pricing point of view. There are ways I can compete with you for, you know, various different reasons. If you go out of stock, if you do this, of course, you know, we're not saying that I can't compete with you, but at the level
you don't always have 100% of the buy box, right? So sometimes 5%.
Yeah, someone's just said that actually.
Yeah, of course. But we'll do everything we can to maintain 100% buy box.
Yeah.
And there's lots of things. I can't go into every detail because, well, I just can't do that, can I?
Yeah.
But it's a free market. That's the good thing about the UK. Everyone can buy and everyone can sell.
Yeah, yeah,
But
absolutely.
You also can't expect to buy at the same price as somebody else.
Of course not.
Unless you're buying the same volumes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it always comes down to, I remember the last job I was in, and this should always serve, I think this story serves as an incentive for anybody who believes that they're getting the best possible price. So I sat opposite this girl, and over the weekend I'd bought a new car, and I'd come in and I said, she said, oh, what did you do at the weekend? I said, oh, I got a new car. And she was like, oh, great. Where did you get it from? And it was a Renault at the time. And we got, you know, we're just talking about it, blah, blah, blah. And I said, yeah, I really peed the guy off, you know, because I screwed him down on the deal, you know, kind of thing. And she was like, sorry, what? And I was like, well, you know, made sure that I got the best possible deal. It wasn't 100% the car that I wanted, so I made him pay for it, kind of thing. You know, and doing me the deal. And she was like, sorry, what do you mean? You got a deal? You didn't pay, you know, the price of the car that they advertised. I was like, don't tell me you've ever paid sticker, you know, kind of thing. And she was like, I didn't know you could negotiate in that scenario. And what will happen is, yeah, we both go into the same place and they might turn around to her. She may have asked the question, oh, is this the best price you can do? And what they're going to say? Yes.
You can always go up, can't you?
Yeah, exactly. And they can always bring it up to scale it back down again. And I think regardless of experience, one, you've always got to ask the question, but you've got to know how to ask the question. You know, this is where your experience comes in of that level of negotiation with people. But it does make me chuckle a little bit sometimes, not in a mean way or anything like that, when I hear someone saying, nobody's got it cheaper than me.
Just a quick question. So, does every manufacturer you buy from know you're selling on Amazon? No.
Great question.
I don't tell anybody that I'm selling on Amazon. I'm joking. Of course they know I'm selling on Amazon. Part of the plan. Again, be honest.
Yeah.
Be honest. Be transparent. Trust.
Well, this is it with the supply chain issues. You know, one of the things that we've been talking about, you know, so much over the last few weeks is this Section 3 thing. And it's very obvious Amazon's main intention is to prove supply chain. You know, this is where the issue is. They
It's not
want.
them trying to weed out small sellers as such, but they
No,
want to make
absolutely
sure the
not.
customers are buying a genuine product.
Of course. And they have to display proof. Does anybody truly believe that Amazon are not being held accountable by the powers that be in whatever country? They are regulated. They
Massively.
have, they have massive lawsuits against them. They're not doing it because they're picking on me or they're picking on Mark or they're picking on Cindy or anything like that whatsoever. They have to show a paper trail. It's as simple as that. And not just a paper trail for one person. It has to be X amount of people in a certain time frame at a certain date at a certain this. So what I would always say, and this has been the advice that's been really solidified over the last few weeks, is, especially from what Comrade's just asked there, don't try and, get round the system. Essentially, if they don't want to sell to you, move on. Don't.
Or speak to them.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Why don't they want you selling on Amazon? Why don't they want you selling on Amazon? There'll be a reason. They're supplying somebody else. Well,
but that's
can
what I
you
mean.
do that?
Don't try and fudge the system. Don't try and buy from a different account in a different name or something like that. You have to be able, in this day and age on Amazon, you have to demonstrate authenticity at buyer and seller level. It's as simple as that. If you cannot buy through everything that matches on your account, don't bother. It's not worth the risk. And that's at any level, right?
Yeah, every level. Just do it right. The same copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste.
Yeah, absolutely. So a couple of people have asked, not just Amazon, you sell on different platforms as well. Remind me, not direct to consumer. Do you sell direct to consumer?
We don't have a D2C website, no.
No.
We don't have our own .co.uk. We manage .co.uk's for some manufacturers.
Mm-hmm.
We do sell on other platforms. Yes. But my advice would be Amazon. If you're a new seller, young seller, you ain't got time. Unless you're doing merchant fulfilled, then get your software in order and have it listed on all platforms. Fine. You might as well be listed, right? It costs nothing to list.
Absolutely. And I tell you what, bringing it back to the hive, folks, we've got a real treat tomorrow night. Matthew Wright has got a whole session dedicated to how you can maximize all of the different platforms whilst being an Amazon seller. So really looking forward to that tomorrow because, it's just going to put extra profit in people's pockets, when they don't really have to do anything extra for it. So it's knowing all of these different types of things.
Yeah.
So coming back to this authenticity, Nuno is put there, they're not accepting invoices, for this and that. You've just got to keep trying.
Might be in the wrong format, right? If it's a screenshot, they just won't even read it. So send it as a PDF.
PDF. It's got to match absolutely everything. It is a general misconception that Amazon do not accept receipts. They do. It's proof of purchase, of authenticity, but you have to make sure it details the product in detail. What you can't do is have like one generic thing and expect them to ungate you or expect you to prove it if they can't match the product. They have to be able to match it in that form. So it's one of those things. Look at what you've submitted it. If they've declined it, they're not doing it just to be an asshole. They've declined it for a reason. So you need to find out what that reason is. Ask in the groups, get experience, talk to people, press the call me now. Like I said, we did say at the start of this, don't hassle Amazon, but at the same time,
I wouldn't do the call me now. I spoke to a couple of my guys about that.
I've heard, now I don't know if you're going to say this, I heard that they use it against you. Is that right? The call me now.
I don't know if they do, but two of the girls who run big accounts on a Friday sometimes, just because I want to get it dealt with. If you raise a case, it's in writing. You've already started a trail, right?
Yeah.
If you do a call, anything could be said or interpreted wrong, right? And it takes time. Raise a case, don't flap. It's in writing.
Yeah.
Make a call after a couple of backwards and forwards if they're just not getting it.
Yeah.
But we suspect that they end up just blocking your number if you're not careful.
Yeah,
because obviously everyone's got their own login access, and it could be true. I don't know. One thing I will just mention as a question is, I can't see who it is. If you buy directly from manufacturers, how often do you get exclusivity? Never. There's no such thing as exclusivity. It's kind of like against the law as well. It's very dangerous grounds on what you're doing. Yeah, you can get first to market, launch, trial period, and this, that, and the other. But no manufacturer, especially a FTSE 100 or any of that, is going to give me exclusivity. Why? They would not do that. So then they can't sell to Boots or Superdrug or whoever, Tesco's, Amazon themselves. You work together in partnership with rules of engagement. Pricing's at the manufacturer's discretion. You can't ask for exclusivity neither. You shouldn't. You learn this when you do procurement. I wish it was. I wish it was exclusive, every single line. Just sit back, drink margaritas. But no, there is no such thing as exclusivity. I don't care who saying they've got an exclusive line. They haven't. There might be some distributor who's only selling to you. It's all they've got and it works. But from a manufacturer's point of view, they can't do that. What they do is sell the same product differently to other people, or different EANs and things. You probably noticed if you go into the supermarket, you'll buy something, they'll do a 500ml version, the other one will do a 350ml version, or whatever.
Absolutely. So that's when it doesn't match. You're absolutely right. And there are options. And again, I hope that this would come up to kind of lead us into this. Obviously, Mark, I know that you've got very kind of different views on this because of obviously the type of business you run and the relationships that you have with manufacturers. But there is also always going to be an opportunity, regardless of whether someone has exclusivity with someone for a product, that I can come on board and I can create my own version of that product in terms of a bundle or something like that. So what I'm actually saying is that there's the exclusivity, I think, is more a case of working direct with the manufacturer, an opportunity to get good pricing and supply, because it's more about supply at a certain level than it is pricing, right?
Really hard. Supply is the hardest thing. Manufacturers are struggling with raw ingredients. They can't produce enough to supply everybody. So you've got to be at the top of the food chain. Are they going to supply me or Tesco's?
Yeah.
Tesco's, right?
Yeah, of course.
Unless you've done a forecast and a plan and you're a big business and you're doing 10, 20 million revenue with a manufacturer, or 5 million, whatever, then you become a proper customer. But
this is an interesting question. I think it kind of links on from what someone's watching said. The name didn't come up, but what's the difference between you and Tesco in terms of where does the balance of power shift with the manufacturer in dealing with you and Tesco? Because I've seen, some at Tesco, we're picking on Tesco, but Tesco obviously do very much have that power in terms of payment terms, pricing, negotiation, that type of thing, with certain manufacturers.
Similar. Tesco.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Is there a big difference between what you get and what Tesco gets? And then could Tesco turn around to them and say, don't supply him?
No, because that goes back onto the whole exclusivity and monopolist commission thing. It's not, we're not in the Wild West anymore, are we?
No.
Tesco's would be, can you imagine if it got found out or there's a leaked email or something, they would be, well, I would just retire, right? Because the payout would be so big. Don't get me wrong. We know it happens, don't we? We know that Tesco's and places are big and they're powerful people, but I don't think in this day and age any manufacturer or big, grocer dictates. They might negotiate hard on price with the manufacturer, just like any other buyer would. But I think they give a fair price to the farmers. People would disagree. It's two sides to every story, but I don't know. I think they've all got good business models, just in different areas. if he was working with a smaller, uneducated company where, you know, they're held over the barrel in some whatever country, then potentially, but no, because it's a different customer, I think. I think Tesco's have got, and Asda and all of them, they've got professional buyers that are looking to fill stores and a different customer. I mean, I think from a competition point of view, I think the grocers would rather have stock over Amazon getting the stock, of course. But it's down to forecasting and planning and buying relationships. And from a manufacturer's point of view, it's no different to them whether they supply Tesco's or Amazon together strategically on the plan. I don't worry about that. I mean, it could be where there's a product that's in short supply. I've not forecasted for it. Another customer has, so they get it because you know, because I could have put a forecast in and I could have had more manufactured for myself and so forth. But or everybody gets a certain percentage of their forecast to make it fair and transparent, because the manufacturer's mission is to try and supply as many customers as they can. So they don't want to go out on any marketplace or any store, do they?
Yeah.
But what people need to think is, where's the opportunities? Is there a potential supply problem coming up? Well, I'm going to get in there and buy all of the stock, but that's just basic business and procurement. But the grocers have also got an advantage because a lot of the products that they sell are low value. You know, they look good on the shelf. You know, they're not eco-friendly products because the chemicals, or they cost £3 in the shop. It's okay doing a bundle, but who's going to buy? You know, there's like some things just don't work on e-commerce, unfortunately, and that's the truth. A lot of people still don't buy on e-commerce. There's a lot of products people wouldn't buy online.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I totally get it, unless you're filling, you know, the cost of the basket. And I think from the manufacturer's point of view, they're not necessarily, it is like exclusivity. It is a little bit of a myth, because why they get, you know, I'm working with a company at the moment that gave exclusivity to a certain larger manufacturer, and you know, at that time they could have been supplying other people. They didn't, unfortunately, and what's happened is that the supplies got cut because they're creating their own product now, you know. So you have to be able to, right? You've got to diversify, and even the biggest boys will do that. Just coming back to Boom's comment, can a manufacturer provide an authenticity letter? Of course. If they can't,
we have lots of them. I mean, we also try. Not all manufacturers will do it because of legislation or just their terms, but we have the brand registry. Doesn't always hold the weight you think. We still get listings pulled down because there's a mention, there's an ingredient in there they don't agree with. It's an old listing. But yeah, we obviously we can ask the manufacturer for a letter and it's supplied. It's not always accepted.
Yeah, this is what because I know this question got asked earlier about this letter of authorization. Again, it's a big buzzword at the moment because it's been going around with the Section 3. I tell you, it won't. Sometimes they don't even accept the letter of authorization to list the. Well, most of the time they don't.
How frustrating is this? I've got the brand. I've been selling the brand for so long. I created the listing with the manufacturer. I have the brand in the brand registry. I have an invoice from the manufacturer, and I have a letter to state we're an authorized seller and it's genuine stock. And it still does not always go through straight away.
Yeah.
So absolutely. Be patient. Be patient.
And I think this is the thing. It comes back to individual business, but thinking with an individual business mind, as opposed to thinking with big business. Because when you see something like that and they're saying Amazon are being unfair, they're not doing this for me and they're not doing that, they can't do things for single sellers.
They're not looking at you as an individual. You're just a number and you're another case for them to deal with. They don't know what size you are. They don't know anything about you as a seller. They'll probably know a couple of their tick boxes, but they don't know you from Adam. They don't know what your revenue is, how many listings you've got. They're just dealing with that one instant that the algorithms picked up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everyone thinks it's personal.
Yeah, and it's not. It's absolutely not. So, you know, this is what I mean. Make sure that when you're looking at it, you're looking at it objectively, as opposed to, you know, from your own individual point of view. And Mark's absolutely right. Go back, look at the terms of service, look at the things that Amazon show themselves. And maybe there's something you can point out. Maybe there's something you can, you know, show them, but in a respectful way, obviously, as well. Like you said, too much disrespect, and Amazon will block that number for sure.
I think so.
Yeah, I've heard it's not the first time I've heard that for sure. So, quick question about leveraging and borrowing, because one of the things I wanted to talk about, obviously, is where you've come from, where you've gone. Like I said, we talked about this on the previous calls. You haven't leveraged any debt. You've done the majority of this without leveraging debt. And you know, there have been at certain points throughout growing the business, but where you are at the moment, it's not done on that. You've already said yourself, big challenges next year. Acquisitions and all these different types of things, you are going to do it now. I think it's Steve asked about what's your thoughts on borrowing to grow. I appreciate where you are now and what you're going to be borrowing to grow is different, but would you mind sort of like giving your general thoughts on it and borrowing to grow and the economy as it is at the moment, because we're in a very different place.
I'll go back one step. So we obviously, I'll say Natalie knows about this, but she was told in the strictest of confidence.
Well, here we go.
Say.
And no,
so we actually
sold of discretion, me.
We sold some equity to a FTSE 100 company.
Mm-hmm.
So we have shareholders now, which made sense because we then secured them as a partner, and obviously they bring another level of expertise potentially. But yeah, so I sold shares in the business for equity into the business, which helps cash flow, which meant I could buy more, grow faster,
Mm-hmm.
and we might do that again. And be very careful what you wish for, because obviously, if you go from more than 100% to X and so on, you then become more of an employee because you have people to be answerable to. You know, you've got a board. But for me, just the recognition of a blue chip FTSE 100 company recognizing what we do and our skill and how we do it, for them to secure us as much as us to secure them, was a no-brainer. Yeah. And it's been amazing. This was 2 years ago now, so we was kind of going through it, and I don't know of many sellers like us that's done that. There's money from banks and private equity and things, but actually one of the manufacturers you've worked with and want you to grow the business with other manufacturers, even competing manufacturers, right? Because you are offering the best solution and products out there, and that's something people should maybe consider at a certain point. I'm investing in companies and things, and it's a snowball effect, and we can talk about private label and other things. But if you're confident, then yeah, of course you should borrow. It's harder now with interest rates, obviously, but you do need to borrow to grow. Or you do what we did. We built a sustainable, profitable business for years and made sacrifices and built like a war chest of cash. But it doesn't matter who you are, whether you're one of the biggest manufacturers in the world, whether you're Tesla, you have to sell off parts to then buy other parts to grow. It's just a fact. I think some of these guys that say debt is good, be careful, because I think if you can do it without debt, I would recommend that. Yeah. I would not want anyone to remortgage the property and put the family at risk. It's got to be carefully thought about. But if you want to grow to a certain size, you need to borrow.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what restricted us as well, by not borrowing.
Yeah.
We would be bigger than what we are now if we'd have borrowed, or it could have gone the other way.
Mm-hmm. And I think it comes back to the basics of never borrow what you can afford to lose, and do it accordingly. So, like, our situation. I don't want to make it all about me. Although I do like what Rosie said there, aka me, aka the holder of all the secrets. That's why my hair's so big. It's full of secrets. So, but with the situation that we've got with thousands upon thousands, and it's growing daily, of dollars being held in the US due to this Section 3. And I said to you earlier, because you said, how's the account? What's going on? I said, yeah, it's annoying, because you leverage through credit cards to maximize, the benefits of the business and all these different types of things. And yes, we've had to pay some unexpected credit card bills that we were not expecting to, you've had to move funds around, and we're going to have to pay for that when it comes
That's business,
to,
though, right?
but that's what it is. It's like Matthew Wright said a few weeks ago. It just means we're probably not going to have as good a Q4. I know you don't like the Q4. I know that's not a big thing for you, but it is what it is. Is it going to put us out of business? Absolutely not. Am I going to lose sleep over it? Yeah. There've been a couple of times I've woken up in the night, of course. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, of course. But at the end of the day, my hair's not going to fall out. Well, I hope it's not anyway, because it's full of secrets. But it's, like I said, it's one of those things. You got to deal with it. It becomes frustration more than anything else, but it's not going to finish us, and it won't finish us.
But like I said, I think, I don't know where I was, because obviously we've got all these locations, but just the fact, you're dealing with it, but your integrity, your honesty. Like I said, there's no secrets with me as such, right? It's what it is. Happens to everybody. There's ways around it. It's not personal, but that comes with experience and maturity as well. I mean, there's lots of things that could have caused us huge problems over the years, right? We've been doing this for so long. And in the early days, and I know what it's like for guys as well, just a £50 bloody refund of some customer who we know is lying is enough to not wipe you out, but it's 70% of your profit that week, right? And then you take it personally, because £50 is £50. Even to me now, it's a lot of money, but to us, it's thousands, tens of thousands, but it's just 5p on every order as an average. It's a different scale and a different level, and that's how people should look at it now when they're selling something. So if you bought it for £5, it's £5.25, because that 25p accumulates over time. You've made a provision. That's your refunds. That's your customer service, and however you want to do it, from a small point of view. But you do these things, and then there's lots of things people can do to make things better. For instance, if you sell a reasonable amount of product, you could probably negotiate a better price with your courier to say, look, listen, if I get this price, but I'm never going to make any claims, what price can I get? Because if you're doing 300-400 orders a day and you get 50p a unit cheaper for shipping, that all adds up.
Yeah.
And then you can use that to offset your claims, and that'll be a less percentage. Yeah. There's lots of things people can do. They just need to think differently.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. I know that one of the things that Johnny spoke about some time ago, and there's so many things that we talk about on here, so things get lost, obviously. But one of the big growths in Johnny's business, I think, was when he was talking about when not necessarily any differences he made in buying or selling, but when he moved his shipping provider to Amazon Shipping, his profit went up overnight. Just by doing that, and he didn't change anything.
Your account's protected because it's Amazon Shipping. They're not going to, there's lots of things you can do. It's not just based around buying the product and selling the product, because people think, well, I need to buy it cheaper or sell it for more. Well, what about your operational costs? Can I outsource this? Can I do this differently? What do I need to do to get, I don't know, I'm making numbers up. Let's just say you're paying £2.50 for shipping. What do I need to do to get £2? Or you just need to give us 200 more orders a day. But I've got no products I can sell. Actually, this one's a really fast selling product. If I sell it at cost, I'm not going to make any money. But guess what? I'm saving the money on my shipping. People just need to think. It is so simple.
Yeah, think outside the box. Right, a couple of questions. Then I want to go to the pre-asked questions because we've got to be respectful of Mark's time, obviously. You know, like I said, I know you've got a bit of a pass tonight, and you and we would stay on here till midnight, and I'm sure everyone would stay with us as well. But at the same time, I want Mark to come back, and he's already promised to do so in March next year, end of first quarter.
We'll do it.
Yeah, so yeah, we don't want to scare him away for sure. So I'm Conrad smashing out the questions tonight. Love it. Love this question. How often does a manufacturer agree to work directly with you, even if you know you're an Amazon seller? I think that's like a follow on from the one before.
Every time, because when we pitch to a manufacturer, we're pitching our business model, right?
Yeah.
So every time,
so it's not even it's not like a decline.
No.
They don't go, oh no.
And but it takes a year, 6 months to onboard a manufacturer, just open an account with them, due diligence audits. It's not a case of, hi, Apple, I want to sell on Amazon. Okay, yeah, cool. Just give us an order. It just doesn't happen, right? No, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I think it's important to point out here, the guys that you're dealing with, you're not dealing with John Briggs, you know, and Son. You know, we are talking the big.
They're all multi-billion-pound companies.
Yeah. So
I think
they don't care,
fair,
right?
The smallest company we work with, 350 million revenue.
Yeah. So
yeah, they're big. They're the big boys, right? But there's lots of them. But remember back to my previous videos, tins of cat food or whatever it was. There's small sellers, small manufacturers and brands. I was speaking to somebody last week. You should speak to these guys. 12 million revenue, right?
Yeah.
If you go and contact a company doing 12 million revenue, they probably don't even know about Amazon. Some of them old school businesses. And before you know it, you're their largest customer. So that's my advice. I'd be going after them guys.
We did some training on this. I can't remember what it was at the start of the year, and one of the sections was identifying these type of people to be able to work with. The amount of times I think people have probably established I'm a bit of a talker now. I love a bit of networking. I go to a party, end up talking to someone, you know, and this was genuinely a couple of months ago, ended up talking to this guy, does 15 million a year in his own business, and doesn't sell on Amazon. Too complicated to sell on Amazon. You know, there are so many. If you're just prepared to ask the question, open your mouth and let the words come out, then, you know, genuinely. And I think people forget, anyone that's on this call, anyone that's selling on Amazon versus someone who is not selling on Amazon, you're the Amazon expert. They're not. So, you know, use that to be able to build and diversify within your business. When we talk about diversification, we don't necessarily talk about Amazon versus selling on eBay, but you can mix things up. You can work with people directly. You can sell exclusively. You can do this. You can do that. You know, there's.
You don't even have to sell their physical products for them.
Yeah.
You could do their marketing for them, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You can run their account. You can take a percentage. There's lots of
handle their returns. There's lots you can do.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So many opportunities. You've just got to think outside the box. Gold nuggets galore. One thing I just want to answer Yo's question here, actually. And then we'll go on to the pre-asked questions, or some of the pre-asked questions, because like I said, I don't want to keep Mark all night. Can you get hit with a Section 3 if you sell your own brand? Someone's put no, but yes, you can.
Yeah, can. I had one of my trademarks violation. I'm like, come on, guys, because someone else had reported me, and it just happens, right?
Oh no, it is the Wild West in you know, certain cases. And do you know what?
But fine.
I always say in this scenario, so this is a bit of a gold nugget. People come to me and they say, such and such, this seller's reported me. What shall I do? Shall I then report them to Amazon? Do you know what? Don't get involved. Do it and sort it out legitimately. But believe you me, when it comes to applying things for brand registry, asking for extra services from Amazon, if you're reporting other sellers, if you're doing things, that can go against your account, and it can block you from getting.
Play the game. Just be professional.
Let them get on with it. Karma will catch up with them at some point. That's
100%.
Yeah,
that's 100%.
Focus, like you said earlier, stay in your own lane, focus on your own journey. Don't worry about what anyone else is doing, you know, just concentrate on that yourself. But yes, you can get it. But it's less likely, obviously, with your own brand. But of course, if you are the own brand and you're the own manufacturer, then there's you should be able to prove that authenticity. And it's all about how you represent.
I'll tell you how you can avoid it. And some people won't like this.
Probably me.
No, stop fucking branding your own water bottles, right? No one cares. There's 10,000 people doing the same shit that Jungle Scout and them are promoting, right? Jungle Scout and all them are amazing, lots of things. But what everyone's trying to do is copy what everybody else is doing.
Yeah.
And then it's saturated. So think outside the box, do it differently, make it better. There's a good thing if everyone Googles, I think it's Jungle Sticks or something. They used an example years ago of how to make a product better. But there's so many manufacturers in China that own the rights to something, and then somebody else will bring it out with a different color, of course, and you've got 50 grand's worth of stock coming. It's very, very difficult. I don't think anyone should look at private label unless they've got 50k to burn.
No, absolutely
My
not.
experience.
Yeah, there's so many ways that you can have your own brand on Amazon without having to manufacture anything yourself.
And work with a manufacturer is the key thing. Have the relationship with the manufacturer. Do that.
Yeah.
It's hard. I mean, I'm really wanting to do some good private label products, but focus time. We will get around to it. We thought it was going to be this year.
But it's fighting the temptation, right, of that kind of always wanting to do it. But like I said, it's private label, fantastic, but it's a very different game than what it was kind of 10 years ago. But what I will say is never sell a product on Amazon, solve a problem, as opposed to, selling a product when you are creating your own opportunity.
We have manufacturers that come to us with, they're called NPDs, right? New product development.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to launch a product and they use us to launch it on Amazon first. And then if it's successful, then they'll roll it out to the stores. And some of the products that the manufacturers bring out are just terrible. They're like reinventing the wheel. There was one, they've made a product worse, right? So the manufacturers don't always get it right. So there's your experience there as well. But they've got deep pockets. That's the difference.
Yeah.
So you can't beat, I guess, the OA and the RA guys buying a calculator. It's already established and selling 100,000 of them and make a pound on each, rather than trying to design and import a product that could have 10,000 issues, then run marketing campaigns. It's easy to do with the right team and the focus and the cash, but there's easier ways to make profit in the short term. You should then use profits that you've generated for things like that. And maybe D2C is the way for that. I'm not sure.
And I think with the competitiveness, especially if you're trying to launch a product this time of year, which, some of my Hive guys are experiencing a little bit at the moment as well, because, the cost of paid advertising at the moment, not only is that massively expensive this time of year, it's 3 times the cost of what it is normally, because there's so much extra demand on the platform. And you know what? If you want to launch a product in a competitive niche, be prepared to spend thousands a week on advertising. It's as simple as that. And most people are not prepared to do it. So,
that's what I'm saying.
You have to. You've got to have deep
pockets.
Get it
established, and then hopefully it'll maintain. And again, working with manufacturers, a lot of these products are never successful.
Yeah, absolutely. They're loss leaders in a lot of cases, a lot of scenarios. So yeah, stay in your own lane. Do you know what? That's the best phrase I've heard tonight. Stay the course, stay in your own lane, and go from that. Why would you want to create your own product from China?
It sounds good. Everyone's,
I know, it's sexy, right?
Yeah, and it's just something new and interesting and a distraction. It's just about this being focused thing. But being able to,
I think it comes down to, and this is me, I'm a guru at the end of the day, so I'm doing a bit of guru bashing, but it's all right because I'm a guru, it's fine. But that's how you sell courses that are thousands of pounds because you have to justify, you know, that charge by saying, well, you need to get a shipping agent, and I'm going to show you how to do this, and I'm going to show you design patterns, and I'm going to show you. Do you know what, guys? Join the Hive, spend 100 quid, join the Hive, and I will show you how you can make better, you know, better profits than, you know, anybody that's probably manufacturing out of you know, China at this moment in time. So you don't need
a
to
local
go
manufacturer that like does 4 or 5 million revenue.
Yeah, yeah,
Just
it's like
with
crazy. Yeah, work with them. Find the gap, right? Find the angle that they need. There's always an angle, and yes, I appreciate what advice actually. I can talk, you can talk, but someone who maybe doesn't have that level of, or confidence of level of communication, what bit of advice would you give them? How can they start that conversation? They might be a bit embarrassed or a bit shy, or, you know, how can you get around that?
You've got to get your business in order first.
Yeah.
I think I've mentioned this before. I'm sure hopefully some of these people are going to watch these older videos, but Debbie57@hotmail.com. No one's going to reply to that email. You need a trademark, company, matching email things.
Yeah.
And it's a case of, my advice would be, do the research on the company, tell them where they're going wrong on the marketplaces, what you would do differently,
in a respectful way.
You've got to add value, because you're not the only one approaching them, and manufacturer won't stop using somebody to join you. So go to somebody who's not really selling on Amazon, or they've got a problem with counterfeit products, or 10,000 listings of the same tins of beans, right? And then if you show them what the revenue potential is, exactly, then you'll get it.
Bad images. Look, you know, I've spoken to manufacturers previously. What I've said, I've said, do you realize this is how your product is being represented on Amazon? And they've got no idea. They've got no idea. So it's an opportunity to be able to kind of open the door and step through it. It's whether or not, like I said, you don't necessarily need to have the gift of the gab, or, you know, that level of charisma to be able to do it. It's about highlighting something that they may not have seen before.
I'll tell you what it's about more than anything. Data.
Yes.
That's all manufacturers care about, is data. Page views, potential revenue, users, repeat purchase, etc. Data. So we did a exercise on a new manufacturer, and they didn't realize there was like 357 people selling their products on Amazon.
Yeah.
With just no kind of respect, booking the system, poor images, poor people are not getting the product they think they're getting, and they was gobsmacked. But we went in there with what we did. We spent the time and did all that work and research. Yeah, they could have said, okay, thanks for that very much, see you later. But they didn't. No. It was like, that's great. And then it took about 7 months before we actually placed an order with them.
Yeah. And that's the thing. The bigger the business, the slower it works, because
it's not that person's decision. There's like so many stakeholders, and it's a strategic plan, or they might already be aware of it, but they're happy with it for now, because sometimes they don't care, because the product is being bought from somewhere, whether it's manufactured, distribution, it's getting sold anywhere.
Yeah.
So unless you can enhance it.
Yeah. If you want to scale up to, you know, any type, even 10% of what Mark's doing, develop patience as you grow. It's as simple as that. Things the higher the higher you climb on the tree, you know, the cogs move a lot slower, right?
And then the next important thing is to maintain what you've got and look after that. Don't let that drop.
Amazing
because you've got
advice,
something new and sexy, because you're loyal to your partners and your partners are loyal to you, and you just give it focus. So if we start with any new manufacturer, we give it some love and attention, then it's got its own dedicated person or team on it, and then you're not letting this manufacturer, you know, revenue drop and so forth as well. So there's a lot to it, but in the early stages, there's nothing you can't manage yourself really with the right manufacturer.
How have you changed over the years? Because the brain that you're speaking with from now is very different in terms of development process that it's been through from Mark that started with 200 quid 20 years ago.
I was always, if I'm doing 25 million, I'm telling the manufacturer I'm doing 50 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm always thinking and acting like that size of a business.
So
And
there's
it's
a
just a
bit of
case
fake
of,
it till you make it, or do you know what? I'm not.
there is a
I'm not
bit, there is
against
a bit.
fake
You need
it,
luck.
but you got to be able to
There's a
back it
look.
up as well, right?
You've got to be able to back it up very quick. And trust me, these guys are mega switched on. So you've got to answer questions before they're asked. You could have a new manufacturer come to visit you and they're looking around your warehouse. Oh, as you get bigger, this is amazing. This is like, yeah, it's full, it's really busy. Where's my stuff going to go? Just because it's busy, right? Because it's big already. You've got to think 3 steps ahead. So you tell them about your new premises. You tell them about this. You tell them about that because it's true and it's factual. How can you take on a new manufacturer if you've got no room in your warehouse? You can't, can you?
No. And that's really interesting that you've said that about that anticipation, because most of us mere mortals would be thinking, look at my full warehouse. They're going to be so impressed with this. Whereas actually, no, they're not. They're going to think, how are you going to handle my stuff?
Of course they are, yeah, because that's all they care about is themselves, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely. So make sure that you can always back up what you're going to say. So let's move on to some of this question. Just before we do, I know I keep saying this, sorry, Mark, but this is an interesting one. I know you can't go into details about what you sell and why you sell and all these different types of things, but do you work in the same niche, or do you recommend working in the same niche and expanding out with different brands?
There's all that get niche, get big, or get gone, right? But and a lot of manufacturers are selling brands and they work on certain niches. Like someone just concentrates on nutrition, someone will just concentrate on footwear and this, that, and the other. But for me, I like FMCG.
Yeah.
It's everyday products. You can sell a lot of it. You can be innovative. You can bundle. Everybody needs it.
Yeah.
So selling a 50-inch plasma TV, you're not going to sell again to that customer again.
Yeah.
Sell the accessories and the batteries that go in the TV remote. Do that all day long, right?
Yeah.
So I always think if you can take a picture of something and sell 10,000 of them, it's the same effort as taking a picture of something and selling 2.
Yeah.
But niche is often good because then you can become an expert in that area.
Yeah.
But why do you just? I would concentrate on being an expert at selling on platforms rather than knowing the products, right? Because the good products and the everyday brands will sell themselves to an extent. It's not as straightforward as that, but it is as simple as that.
And this is where I wanted everything to be kept relatable, guys, because if you've just listened to what Marcus said there and you may have heard what he said, but did you listen to what he said? What he said there was it's not necessarily about the size of business you are. Yes, it's fast moving consumer goods and things like that. Replenishable items, things that people can buy time and time again, which presumably you have used, those type of products that are everyday products that are always going to be bought. They're never going to go out of fashion. They're never going to trend in. They're never going to trend out. They're always going to be bought. And you've used that compounding effect to continually be adding these replenishable products into your business that people are going to buy time and time again.
Well, everyone needs food, right? There's a starting point. I mean, as times get harder, are people going to buy less boxes of chocolates at 50 quid? Yes, of course they are. Are they still going to buy the normal boxes of chocolate? Probably. Can you actually sell a normal box of chocolates with the cost of shipping and these things nowadays? Probably not. So a bigger box. You just need to think differently. But keep it simple. Yeah. And it does not matter the size of the business. It makes no difference, my size of the business to anybody else. It's exactly the same.
Rules apply. Same rules apply.
Nothing changes. It's just more of the same stuff.
Yeah.
More complications.
that's what I wanted the message to be more than anything else. Because, like I said, we said at the very start of this, the chance of, there's been on average 80 people on this call. This video will be watched thousands of times over the years. There's the chance of someone replicating what Mark has done is very slim. I'm just throwing it out there. It's absolutely.
It can be done. It just takes time.
It can be done. It can be done. But you can do it at this. You can do it at a different level. It doesn't. What we mean is, like I said, I didn't want people to turn off from the fact that, okay, I'm not going to listen to what Mark says because it's not relatable. Whereas you just do it at a larger scale. You do exactly the same, but just at a bigger scale.
It's just like growing up, right? So I don't know. I've got a nice car. A new driver has done what we've all done. They've gone out, they've bought a car, £2,000 or £3,000 nowadays, but they've still got a car. A car's a car, right?
Yeah,
that's how it is.
Yeah.
So everyone's got a house. Someone's got a bigger house. Someone pays more for a smaller house in a different area. But doing this business does not matter the size and the scale. Yes, you might not buy at the same price, or some products you can't buy, but there's lots of products out there. And me sending into FBA, yes, we've got a team of people doing it. It's no different to you sending into FBA yourself. It's the same process. Amazon want it the same way. They receive it the same way. They sell it the same way.
There's no magic system, right?
No difference between me and any seller selling from the garage. I've done it. There's nothing's changed. It's just another zero or a pallet instead of a carton. And then it becomes a container, doesn't it?
Yeah. Michael said how this is probably not directed at you, Mark, but just general. How do I know if I can copy what I do in the States and bring it over to the UK? And if I can, how? We don't have time to answer that one here, but all I can tell you is you can.
Yeah. So this goes back to somebody else's question. I mean, I'm not 100% sure. How we work is, someone mentioned something, I think it was like Pan-EU or cross-border trading, but literally, if we sell in Germany, we buy in Germany. If we sell in France, we buy in France. We don't ship from Germany to the UK or any of that kind of stuff. And that's how we operate our business. And that's why we've got our hubs throughout Europe. The US is a totally different market, different laws, legislation. I'm sure, people could go into detail on the best way to do it. I mean, one good thing is the US likes British brands, right? But it's expensive to ship to the US.
Yeah, totally. Michael says I'm doing almost $1 million out of my own warehouse. So there we go.
Awesome.
Yeah, amazing.
Who else? How many people can say they're doing $1 million from their own warehouse, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? We've talked about this previously, like Cindy was talking about. We all learned the words or the phrase bedroom bandit from yourself, Mark. You can literally. How many other businesses could you literally scale to 7 figures from your bedroom? You could. You could absolutely do it with Prep Center, with the right team. Absolutely. You can do it. You can be that bedroom bandit. You can do it from your bedroom. You can do it from your warehouse. I think the opportunity.
And keep your overheads low. I would recommend that all day long. You can earn 6 figures. You can earn 100K a year from a closet. Seriously, you can. You can.
And fantastic. I love hearing these type of stories. Fantastic achievement, Michael. Started from the kitchen table, that type of business being, absolutely amazing, and like I said, I'm so grateful for Amazon for this opportunity. And I hope other people are as well. We slack them off. They annoy us. They do this. And oh God, it's so, Amazon, we hate Amazon on days, but I tell you what, there are days when I love Amazon. When I love it more than
I think they frustrate lots of people, but I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Amazon.
Yeah, for sure. They're not all bad. And like I said, but the most important thing is it's not personal. That's what you got to do. It's 100%. Big businesses, it operates at a different level. But yeah, you got to look at it. You got to think outside the box. VN, my first $1 million was from my living room. So he was a living room bandit. Sean says he leverages people's garages, uses working mums.
Sean does that, yeah.
Fantastic.
And he's giving back right there, earning some cash and
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So there's always a different way to be able to do it. No such thing as a no. I wanna go and answer Ben's question on here because on some of the questions, which God, we're nearly 2 hours in. We haven't hardly even got to them. But like I said, I don't want to keep you too much longer. Ben said, where do you see the Amazon marketplace in the next 5 years? Will it be only for big business, big sellers? Will the small guy be kind of squeezed out? What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, this is red wine on a campfire type stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I have an opinion. I don't know if I should. It's
Oh, you've got to say. You've
it's
got
not
to.
for big businesses, because the thing with small businesses and smaller people is agility, right? How do you keep agility when you're big? That's the key thing everyone needs to consider, right? Manufacturers like agility. What could Amazon go down the route of? They don't work with manufacturers anymore because they make good commission dealing with third-party sellers. They're all shipping the parcels for them now. There's no risk to the Amazon business model because it's your stock you've put in there. It's not stock they've bought. They need less people, like account managers to buy from manufacturers. So maybe they will go to be just a logistics and a website making commission, be more profitable probably for them. Or will they keep working with manufacturers more and more because that way they can keep traffic coming to the website because of pricing? But in my opinion, I think
legislation-wise, they might be forced apart anyway from,
not even legislation, competition. So where you thought you was going to do $1 billion on Amazon, you could probably go do 750 million. Amazon's never going to go away. Their model's going to change. I think that they're going to be going down more of the grocery sector, the delivery side of stuff.
Ooh, interesting.
If everybody thinks minimum order quantity stopped on Amazon, but you can still buy a £2 item as long as you buy it for Amazon Fresh.
Yeah.
So then that's the Ocado's model, isn't it? And flip things like that. And Amazon are the best at that kind of stuff. So you can still buy your everyday items, but not necessarily from Amazon.co.uk, but from Amazon/fresh or.
See, that's interesting because I think as the little guy, we always think that Amazon is after us, but not necessarily.
No, they don't. They're about us.
Yeah.
They're after your, in my opinion. So obviously, are they after Asda delivery? Of course they are.
Yeah, Deliveroo. They're after those guys.
They don't. If you look at what shares Amazon own in what companies is more interesting. So do you not think that Amazon's just sat there waiting for all these Gorillas and GoPuff and all these on-demand partners to see if there's a big enough market, if it's going to work? I mean, the infrastructure and the logistics that Amazon's got. So
that's
I think
the proof of their success, right? Is they allow other people to test the market for them, then they take it.
You will have more sellers like us than Amazon buying from manufacturers. It's just always increasing, right?
And there's always going to be room for the little guy because we can buy stuff a lot, like you said, a lot more agile, a lot more, we're not tied up by red tape. We're not tied up by the system. And as long as you can stay agile, then and like I said, you don't need 100. You need a high percentage of the buy box, a lot more than I do, essentially, because of the level of what you're buying and what you're selling.
Nobody has 100% buy box. I don't care who you are, unless you're the only person on the ASIN. And I've got all the data. I can prove that. There's ways around things, but you
buy
need
box
a high
rotations are myths, guys. It doesn't happen. It's a myth.
There's no Amazon. I mean, if you've got two sellers side by side and one's better at this and one's better, of course, there's always edges, right? And buy box shared and all these other things, but Amazon are changing massively all the time and adapting for the better for the customer.
Yeah.
What I would like to see is Amazon have superstar sellers, recognized sellers. So imagine like your business is a T1 brilliant seller, and Amazon treat you like they treat Tesco's.
Yeah.
Like they treat a manufacturer, sorry.
Now that's fair. And I think we were talking about this and we were sort of heading this way with the conversation, but it didn't lead there. When we were talking about the daily disbursement, technically that's unfair, you know, in terms of the whole market. If you're going to go down that route, like you say, go down the old eBay superstar, top rated seller, this kind of, you know, let that be shone through. As opposed to somebody getting their money quicker because they've been selling longer. I don't think it doesn't make you a better seller, right?
Between Amazon and eBay, isn't it? It's that Amazon, they are transparent. I mean, I know there's some things and legal court things and stuff, but they don't give you a shining beacon against a newer seller. Yes, the newer seller has to jump through a few small hoops to get the prime status initially, but they should, because I mean, there could be anybody, right? But for me, it would be good if there was this beacon and you are, you know, the best or one of the best Amazon sellers for 20 reasons. But Amazon wouldn't give you anything different to everybody else because they are pretty transparent and level.
Yeah.
I mean, but you would get other things because you are doing what they're expecting you to do, what they would do.
Yeah, definitely. Loads of questions keep firing in, guys, and like I said, I have to answer. I'm trying to pick out ones that cover, you know.
I mean, obvious things like, guys, things like ask better questions. Things like, what do you do for returns and stuff? What anybody else does. Those are not. You're not going to gain anything from that. There's no magic recipe on how you handle a return or a refund or anything. It's the same for everybody else. Who thinks Amazon will buy UPS? Well, it's been a rumor for a long time. FedEx and this, that, and the other. But
I thought they tried and they got blocked. So I think it's one of those things. I always thought they would, but I just
there are other couriers that are bigger and better. I can't go into too many details from what I've seen, but maybe they will, or maybe they've got just enough cash they can build a better infrastructure themselves, right?
I'm just going to quickly answer Michael, because obviously he's asking some specific questions there. I'm not going to go into it in too much detail. I can't, because of the nature of what we're talking about in terms of trying to keep it general. But what I will say is what you're talking about there is having to export and import into the UK. So there are lots of different variables related from that. Totally possible, completely achievable. But you would need to talk to a courier, you know, an overseas provider, FedEx, UPS, and FedEx, DHL, people like that. You'd need to open an account with them. You'd need to know what the limits are to be able to export into the UK. You'd need to know what your duties are. You'd need to know what can be exported. You know, we're not bound by the EU rules anymore, so it has opened up to a certain extent, but it's not a simple question, I'm afraid.
It's got to be worth it. I mean, we could do a whole 2 hours just on that one thing, but I mean, I said this before and I'll say it again. Why look at selling into another country until you're good in the country that you're in? Because it's far simpler. If you apply the effort on trying to buy and sell within the UK, you will do more margin, more revenue, and more profit.
Yeah. No, like I said, honestly, Michael, it sounds scary, but you've just got to speak to the right person. Pick up the phone and talk to DHL, talk to FedEx, you know, or talk to UPS and see what you can do. They're super helpful in any country that you're in, and say, look, I want to export these products into the UK. What's the best way to do it? If they're a business, they're designed to facilitate you, and they want you to help. So it's totally achievable. Or another hot tip is find a 3PL in the US that is already exporting to the
use
UK.
their advice. They're doing it. That's what I was going to get onto next. I've got it on my points. The other thing is what is good from a Brexit point of view is there's lots of manufacturers outside of the UK that are no longer selling in the UK and want to sell in the UK and need a solution in the UK. So think about bringing stuff into the UK rather than trying to sell out as well.
Yeah, that's one of Matthew Wright's big points that he's talked about. I don't think people know this. Matthew Wright did a whole training course in the Hive on utilizing the selling in the EU in and outside of the EU based on exactly that. Maximizing that as much as possible post
£100 a
Brexit.
month, and then you can go into these small subjects and elaborate on any area that you want to be on. Just it's like talks like this. You just don't have time, right?
Unfortunately not. And I feel super bad because it's such an interesting thing to talk about, but quite, hopefully a couple of tips there will help, Michael. But probably the most helpful is speak to the couriers, the shipping providers, or 3PL already doing it in the US, because they will know what you can do, what you can't do.
Amazon are actually contacting a lot of sellers now to help and support them to sell into the US as well. So there's another way to do it.
Don't forget the global shipping program on Amazon as well. So if you can switch it on, then you might be able to ship direct from the States into the UK. So there's lots of options. And this comes back to, again, it's just Mark does it as a much higher level, but it's same solutions. You just got to think outside the box a little bit. Utilize groups like this. Get the opportunity. Michael's asked a fantastic question of a 9-figure seller on a live, show, and hopefully got a tip that will help him be able to build an extra income stream for the brands that he's working with in the US. So, always be asking those questions, and it's why it's important to attend these lives. Yes, Mark's not on every week, unfortunately, but he does pop back and see us every now and again. So it's taking advantage of that as much as possible. And like you, Mark, like us, like anyone, we love talking business, right? We love talking about all this sort of stuff, and that doesn't change at what level of seller you are either.
What other questions have we got?
Right.
There's quite a few in the Facebook group.
I know. Let's have a quick look. I'm not going to ask you about your hairstylist. Sorry, Chippo. I'm not going to ask that.
I don't even have time for a haircut. The state of this, I was going to get my haircut Saturday, and I got carried away with this nightmare Amazon stuff.
But one thing I do want to ask is the balance. And thanks, Chippo, for reminding me on that, because that was on my list as well. So I'm gonna incorporate all of her questions there into one. How do you maintain the balance with family and everything like that? That was a big one for me.
It's hard. I'm trying to not work on a Friday, go for lunch with the wife and do some admin and bits and bobs and stuff. Sundays all day. Both my kids play rugby, so that's all day Sunday, right? That's like that's not a day for me, but I enjoy it. And then Saturday just food but I'll be honest, my kids are now teenagers, so by the time I get in, the kids, what kids are like. They've got their activities, so they've got rugby throughout the week as well, Tuesday night, Thursday night. So there's family time there. Then on the Sunday, but I get in 6:30, 7 o'clock during the week. It's game over, right? Shower, some food, check a couple of emails, bedtime. But it's better. It's getting better. So I mean, I don't work on a weekend. I don't come into. I dial in. Depends on what's happening, right? But I don't come into the office on a weekend anymore.
So I take it you said you try and spend Friday with your wife. So when your shipping got shut down on Friday, then I take it you dialed in that day.
To be fair, because I'd had the Friday and the Monday, I came in on the Friday anyway, because the weather was terrible, and by God, I'm glad I did, right?
Yeah. So that was a fluke. You came in anyway.
But this Saturday and most of Sunday was just pure stress, obviously, trying to deal with stuff,
damage limitation.
But we got things fixed. Obviously, one of our guys, our CTO, and everyone was on it, and we had a full day of rugby, and it was good. Like, left the house at 8:30, home for 5 o'clock, because my daughter was playing in one town, my son was in another, but luckily ours was later, so it was just a long day the way it went, right? Weather was cold, but it was dry. It was a good Sunday, and obviously I have lunch and so forth. But getting the balance, it's hard. But if you've not got kids, it's easier. If you're single, it's easier. There's 24 hours in a day. I say this all the time, right? Just do more. Do more now, take time back later. But you just have to do it. You just have to do it. Something has to give.
And I think priorities change. You hit the nail on the head there. When your kids are teenagers, and I talked about this at the start of the year, when you're thinking about that anticipation of things to come and growth in your business, and especially if you've got a family, kids, partner commitments, that type of thing, with what you're setting your goals now or what you want to achieve, you can't go too much in the future and stick to the plan and expect to be in the same place. Because I was writing my 10-year goals 5 years ago when my kids were babies.
Yeah.
I've got my kids,
Changes.
yeah, they change in that period of time. My son turned 13 at the weekend, and
And
although
he's on PlayStation now, right? You know what I
yeah,
mean?
exactly. You know, don't I can't talk about it too much, it makes me cry. But you know, he needs me less as
Yeah.
much as I try and force myself onto
They
him.
can feed themselves, right? To an extent.
Exactly. So I've been on this call tonight. Matt's taken my son to football. So he's been at football. They'll be coming home soon. My daughter's been at cheerleading. She's literally been dropped off. She's gone in with her nan, who lives on, you know, in an annex in our house as well. So
Oh,
I can
good.
carry on doing this. Whereas I couldn't have done that 5 years ago when she was a
And that's
toddler.
why the call today for me was tonight, because I'm not stealing time from the business.
Yeah.
So it works for me. I'm trying to build a property, and we'll put an annex on there as well. Is because it helps and it's giving back and so forth. And so my balance has got a lot better, hugely better.
I
But
can see that in you as you know, as friends over the years and, you know,
yeah,
having conversations and things like that. The bigger your business has grown, I can see actually that you're winning the battle a little bit more in terms of that balance.
definitely. But that's about staying in your lane as well.
Yeah.
And it's okay hiring. One of the questions Johnny asked was, I think, do you recruit internally? We do. We train, we educate. But sometimes you need a different person. This is the thing. So we've got guys who work for some of the manufacturers joining us that we've worked with because they've seen the success of our business and the way we're going, our entrepreneurial. So we're now becoming like as if we're a blueprint, or people are getting a pedigree. So if they come from a manufacturer's point of view and then work for someone like us, they're even better themselves as individuals because they see the Amazon side, the manufacturer side, and our side as well.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no point paying big bucks and employing people with external commercial experience to then have guys leave me and then go and work for them within the business.
Yeah.
Not let them get on with it. Otherwise, what's the point in doing it? And these guys wouldn't stay, would they? Because that's just how it is. So yeah, we're big on education, paying for people to do degrees and stuff internally, and grow internally if you can. But you do need to look externally for people that are better than you in a certain area, and then get used to paying the salaries as well. How can the business grow and be sustainable if it can't afford people on X, Y, and Z?
Yeah, absolutely. You got to pay people more than you. You know, that's why the CFO and things like that is always the, you know, the most well paid in the country.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
in the company, more so
But
than
then
the
on our
CEO.
next call, then you need to think about the exit point of the business. At what point do you exit, or you
Yeah,
take a step
let's talk
back?
about that. And I think that did come up actually. Is there an exit point? Because obviously you've disclosed the secret yourself, not exposing anyone here. You have sold off part of the company essentially for expansion reasons and growth. Is that you out at any point?
No, I don't think
And
so. And the manufacturers wouldn't invest if they thought that, because they're investing in you as an
yeah.
individual. So then if you can
I was
build
going
a
to say, even if
team that can do it.
oh, sorry. No, I was going to say, even if you did sell, I think there was a delay there. Even if you did sell, you would probably have to stay on as part of the deal anyway.
Yeah, I mean, of course. I mean, let's put it this way. I mean, a manufacturer, just a FTSE 100 company, is not just going to invest cash into a business and then let you go, right?
No.
I mean, I wouldn't want to go. If anything, how do I get my equity back, right? You know, that's the thing. But at some point, I mean, go down to 3-day week, 2-day week. I don't know. But this is me. This is my job, my hobby. What am I going to do if I did retire or step back? But there's no plans in the short term to completely get out of it. I'm just building value.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing. What are you going to do? You get bored on a beach after. I wouldn't, but you would.
Well, it's not even that, is it? There's like that's when hopefully you get a bit more quality time, right? And obviously your finances get better as you get older, and obviously, you know, we're all doing well now as a business over time. But another thing for people to consider as well is I would get a bigger salary working for one of these manufacturers than what I take in the business.
Yeah.
A lot bigger. But you're working for somebody, you can't be entrepreneurial, you've got the red tape, you've got the politics, and you're not building something that you've done and that could be worth good value in the future for you, the shareholders. But at some point, you're more of an employee, and you have to produce the goods for the shareholders. You can be sacked in a company, right? Steve Jobs got sacked, right? Just happens.
Exactly.
So,
actually, that sounds like a good thing. Get bought out, get rehired, and then get severance as sacked, right?
Yeah.
That's the plan.
Unfortunately, these manufacturers are a bit more switched on nowadays. They've got you, but it's a two-way thing, isn't it? It's if you're enjoying it, they're getting something out of it, you're getting something out of it, and we've got a really good partner. So, yeah, who knows what's around the corner? Really, might start some other things in different, not related to e-commerce.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't have time for anything. That's the main thing for a few years. I've got a 5-year plan. We've got this hashtag 250. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows what the future. Like I said, I was having this conversation with Matthew Wright earlier, and we were talking about some of the stuff that we want to do with the hive and bee stocks and things like that. And the trouble is you can't get too far ahead in that because you don't know how the market's going to develop.
Right.
Amazon could rug us all. They could pull the rug, on resellers. They could do this. They could do that.
You're just a guest on their marketplace, right?
Yeah.
It's not your marketplace.
Colin hit the nail on the head when he says you never really own your Amazon business. Essentially it's, you're just, like I said, you're just a player in their sandbox, essentially. So you've always got to be, I think you have to maximize what you're doing now, but then also have that ability and agility to be able to adapt, pivot, move forward, and not get humpty about it. Not be a poor me.
Just a plan. Everyone needs a plan within reason. I don't still really have a plan because I'm focusing on this one thing. But what is the plan? I can't remember the chap who reached out to me, had different circumstances and happy doing 50, 100K, making X, got a job doing stuff. And he's gone, and I'm envious of these people. He's gone down the whole path of, well, I want to retire at 50.
Yeah.
But I've got X amount, and fine, just because simple things cost nothing to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And do you know what? If you are someone that loves the simple in life, and
I live a simple life.
Yeah, do you know what? And I hope he doesn't mind me saying it. Sean's the perfect example of that. Sean Gilbert, in the sense that he really does live a certain life that is facilitated by his business, because that's the life he chooses to lead, and it facilitates him, and it does it, and it gives him the freedom to be able to do what he wants, because there's part of it that he's sacrificing for the payoff later.
Yeah,
but at the same time,
there, right? What if you don't get there?
Yeah, but you've got to be able to enjoy it as you go. And I love Sean's stories are the best. The boots, he doesn't pay for any meals, he doesn't pay for any electricity, he doesn't pay for any of this, because his business is just one. It's a really smart way of doing it.
Yeah, no, he's a character, he's a good guy.
Yeah,
but the thing is, like,
I think that's underrated. That's what I'm trying to say. I think that's underrated.
If you've got 5 million, right? Let's just say you built up a business and you've got £5 million or £1 million. It's no difference between 1 million and 2 or 5 and 10. You're not going to be like Elon Musk and them with £400-500 million yachts, right? So you don't have the costs. The one thing people do need to be thinking about is at retirement, right? So let's just say you've worked your socks off and you've paid your mortgage off. And everyone's like, that's most people's dreams. If I was mortgage free, right? That's what they say. However, the bills don't go away.
Yeah.
The council tax doesn't go away. All you've saved is that car payment, really. It's the same thing. And that's the thing. the youngsters need to think about putting money away into a pension and tax advantages and this, that, and the other, or have an Amazon business as a passive income on the side, and they've got income and revenue with the FBA model's amazing, isn't it? You know?
Yeah, absolutely. And Sean's replied there, he can do whatever he wants. It's not tied to anything, low liabilities, business is paid for. You know, he hasn't committed himself to a 30-year mortgage. He can do whatever he wants. And yeah, like I said, I think that's underrated.
You could be lucky. You could do it the other way. You could be lucky, work really hard, make a lot of money, and then still have all of these things without being tied and they're paid off. But it's that balance, and is it achievable? Is it not? It's about realistic goals, and be careful what you wish for. I know lots of people with multi-million-pound properties and 15,000, 20,000 pound a month mortgage payments. No, thank you.
No, absolutely. You know? Do you know what? Going through these questions, I actually think we've answered the majority of them through chat anyway. A lot of things about goals, about how you run your warehouse and your staff and your team and things like that. Going back to Ben's one, we'll do a bit of quick fire because I think if that's okay, we just do a couple of quick fire ones. High volume, high margin. That's real quick fire. That's difficult for you to answer, actually, I think.
I like cash margin. So whether it's
monetary margin.
Yeah, but I mean, revenue, obviously the more revenue, the more you've got to do, and this, that, and the other, if it's smaller valued, average order value items. But volume, I think, is volume in different areas is my advice.
Just a few other questions in terms of how you live your life. I think it's important, and I can probably answer this in terms of, we talked about balance and how you prepare and things like that. You've got a supportive wife, supportive partner, runs the family. So we don't need to go into it any more than that. You've got a partner in life, right, that supports you and everything.
You can't. Yeah, I don't need to worry about are the kids home from school and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's the life you've built together.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. And that's so important. It's so important. That's why I had Alison on from Selleramp last week when we were talking about that in the business that her and Al have built together. Or it's Al's business, and then she's come in and having that support.
Done it together indirectly, yeah. Someone's got to, feed the kids and stuff. And that's the thing. I'm often out the country a lot now. Obviously, we've got all these European hubs and things. Not so much now because the new guys coming through are handling that. But you can't just. I could jump on a flight tomorrow. I could do that.
You could, yeah.
Because I know that the home's protected and the kids are okay, right?
Yeah. Sean's saying, who believes in self-discipline? I think we all do. He is disciplined.
It's hardcore discipline. It's like everyone can focus on do this. But I mean, I'm a nightmare for getting distracted and other things as well. But obviously, I've got a certain level of discipline and routine, but I could be 100 times better than what I am.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's always room for improvement, and I'm going to play devil's advocate to Sean here. And Sean's heard me talk about this before anyway as well. You'd already touched on it. I am not the most disciplined person. If I earn it, I spend it. I like to live life. I like to enjoy it. It doesn't mean that I haven't got investments and protection and things like that, of course. But at the same time, there is always part of me that thinks, okay, could this stop at some point, or I'd have to adapt. And if I didn't, I want to enjoy life as I go through it. It is that classic, you could get hit by a bus tomorrow.
Yeah, and I've made that mistake before. I mean, maybe I should have just took things a bit more steady and just lived a bit more, right? That's the thing as well. Because the kids grow up quick, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I've talked a lot about this on podcasts and whatnot. Des was someone I was talking to on his podcast a few months ago. Growing a business with a young family, you've got to enjoy it. But there's no point in having regrets if you're not in that position, because at the same time, there's always a trade-off. So yes, if you didn't have that time with them when they're younger, then you give them the opportunities to be able to progress their lives. Yeah,
exactly. So now my kids,
there's always a trade-off.
Yeah, they're doing okay, right? It's that it is a trade-off. Sometimes you need to do that then to make it easier later on.
Yeah.
It's
exactly. There's always a trade. Sorry, Sean's he's not impressed with my spending habits. He never has been impressed.
Someone
Yes,
mentioned TikTok.
let's talk about TikTok quick. So I really genuinely think,
obviously, I'm working with them guys and with them, like the actual TikTok people themselves, the officers.
Yeah. So let's talk about TikTok, because obviously we're both, we're talking about this at the start, and we will have this as the last thing we're going to talk about today.
I don't know which way it's going. All I know is I don't use social media at all. We're big on social media as a business. I don't have TikTok, but my kids do. And I got in one evening and my son's dad, I accidentally bought something on TikTok. I owe you X amount of money, right? And he plops this £3.49 on the kitchen worktop. Right, fine, don't do it again. Take my card off your account, right? So obviously I must have said it when I set his account up. But they are, so he's 13. They're your Amazon customers in 5 years' time.
Yeah, I agree.
That's the truth. Where I would say we're 5 years behind in the UK of Singapore and all these places. And I've been to conferences with manufacturers, and I have watched live TikTok events during the NFL and stuff, and I have seen the orders go from 0 to thousands in less than a minute during a commercial advert and things. Yeah. So I'm not edging my bets, but we're spending a lot of time and effort and money and resource working with TikTok, working with manufacturers. Yes, the sales might not be great in the short term, but the learning and the working together. But my products that I sell are not all necessarily the right products for TikTok or the right price point for it to stack up financially, right?
Yeah, but I do think I see it evolving massively over the next couple of years now.
Oh, hugely.
There is actually, from this point last year, there was not a reseller market on TikTok. Now there is.
We've got 5-6 TikTok shops or something like that. I don't deal with it. We've got
now you've got people that are buying stuff from Tesco's. They're going live on TikTok and they're saying, I've got 10 of these fox tans. They're selling for this, and they're paying less than $3.
Doing it with the manufacturer.
Yes, of course. But you've got to start somewhere.
Well, you have. And do you know what? The guys that are doing that will be better at it than most people.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. TikTok, other marketplaces, Amazon Live. TikTok's just the new shopping channel, right?
Yeah. Oh, so absolutely. I love it. It's like my dream job. If someone gave me a ready-made TikTok store and they say you sell stuff on that all day, I would do it. I would absolutely do it, and I will do it at some point. I've got to, because it's the way it's moving, and everything that we do in the hive is about staying ahead of the competition. And like I said, that
might not do anything, but understand the learnings for future. You could become a TikTok expert in 6 months if you just and you could. That's you then, right? That's you.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
More and more people.
I think there comes a point in business when you've been in it for so long. Like I said, it's about that, that smelling what sells, as essentially. And there was a point about 6 months ago when you looked at something like TikTok and you can see where they're heading, and you absolutely, I've never heard anyone say it as eloquently as you. Actually, it's 100% true. Whoever is on it now is the Amazon customer in 5 years, 10 years, whatever it is. That's exactly the right way to look at it. And that will be the market of future.
It's that instant purchase option.
Yeah. It's crazy. Right?
So do you know, I'll tell you, I had this conversation with somebody. I can't say who it is, but I don't even buy it. I don't even have an Amazon account. My wife has one, right? I'll just send her a link.
I don't have an Amazon account.
Buy me this. I'll just say buy this, right?
We don't fall for it.
I can't be bothered going on to a BT. If I find something, I can't be bothered registering a new account on, say, I don't know, whatever.com. I just buy it on Amazon. Just buy it on Amazon. But imagine if you're on the TikTok feed now, buy now, because it's all pre-set up. That's even quicker than the checkout on Amazon.
Mm. It's a crazy. And I think when you're a certain age, like for me now, I don't buy off. I've never bought off TikTok or anything like that, but and I won't do, because I'm of an age, I'm same age as you, Mark, or well, a few years younger, but similar. Whereas I don't fall for that. Essentially, someone's not gonna sell me on TikTok, but the kids, that's what they're being primed for. So, and it's an easy option to be able to do it. I don't buy anything on my phone still. I have to log in on my computer and do it.
Yeah, I prefer to be on the desktop. In-game purchases, it's the same thing, right? TikTok's a game to these kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
And merch. So where your own label stuff's probably easier to sell is on TikTok, your private label stuff.
Absolutely. So this is a direction definitely my guys are going to be going in. We can't ignore it, and that's how I said, never say never, guys. 6 months ago, yes, I was probably on a video saying, forget about TikTok. You don't need to worry about it. Yep, full circle. We'll be going down that route.
What TikTok is? TikTok is now the air fryer, right?
Yes.
If you look on the packet of certain things now, it even tells you how long in the air fryer, not the oven.
Yes.
Things are changing so quick, different people, different age groups.
And I think that's the thing, is when you've been in the game for a certain amount of time, you see people coming and going all the time. And, TikTok at one point was just someone else, but they've changed. They've evolved.
Temu, my daughter's buying all that tut off
Well,
Temu.
Temu now
all these others, right?
They've already predicted that Temu is going to take over. It will be the biggest retailer in the world. So everyone's moved on to machine.
All that stuff subsidized. There's lots of things. I know how many parcels they're shipping out in the UK and things, but
what I will say,
it's all Chinese stuff though. But at what point are manufacturers going to be putting themselves on there, right?
Yeah. But this is what interesting, and I don't want to get into the political argument. Please don't judge me for saying this or anything like that. But why on earth do you think someone like Donald Trump at the time that he was in office was trying to stop the likes of Temu and things like that? Because it's anti-American, it's crushing the American business opportunity. So if he was talking about limiting the fast selling, low shipping AliExpress, Shein, things like that.
Subsidized Royal Mail shipping and all that kind of stuff.
He was talking about subsidizing them 5 years ago, because he knew where they were going and where it was going to happen, regardless of whatever you think about it. So, and it's what's happened.
Stick to your core, your Amazon business that you love, you trust. And then you have pockets and businesses within the business. So you'll do your bit on whatever site, TikTok, eBay, and so on, and just grow. Where's it more profitable to sell from, right? But trust that customers trust Amazon.
Yeah, absolutely. And TikTok will come that, but it comes down to, don't think you have to be big business to do it, because as long as you can solve a problem, as long as you can provide a solution to that problem, you'll always do okay. And I think that's the way that you've got to look at it.
But where's Amazon going to be? As we said, who knows? You've got to think who's coming, right? There's that JD's coming. There's a few. I know that Alibaba's already got some other branded names that they're going to be doing. But for me, in my lifetime, Amazon.
Yeah. Exactly. I do love what Jade said about her mum, and someone else said it, they're buying off TikTok. I will at some point maybe, but yeah, I still don't buy off Amazon. I do exactly the same as Mark. I send Matt a link. I didn't even know this is how
family, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't even know that you could go on an Amazon page and forward the link. So I used to copy the link, or I snapshot it and send it to Matt. And he used to get really annoyed because he was like, can you not just send me the link? I'm like, okay. So then I started copying the URL to send it over. And he was like, just forward me the buy link. I know. I didn't know you could do that until about 3 months ago.
if you really want to piss him off, just send him a screenshot. So then he's got to go searching for it.
That's what I said. I used to send him the screenshot, and he absolutely used to kill me over it because he was like, "Send me the link," and now he wants the buy link. So yeah, there we go.
What a lot of people are doing, that Temu, whatever you call it, a lot of the products on Amazon for say 12 quid, and then you can buy in there for 3 quid. There's a lot of people doing that, drop shipping and this, that, and the other. But I think at some point that will come to an end because Amazon doesn't want thousands of the same thing on there with a different color. But you know, let's be honest, not everything's crap from China. Everything's made in China. So, you know, there are some good stuff, but I don't know. Can they deliver calculators for 50 pence for the next 4 years? No, they can't, can they? They're just buying data, again, data, market share, customer base, and so on. And good luck to them. But stick to your traditional stuff is my advice.
Yeah, Scott, sorry, I think you've misinterpreted what Sean said there. I think he's talking not buying to resell, just buying generally, as opposed to not buying to resell from.
No, buy to resell, but buy correctly. Like, some people are having massive success. I'm seeing on.
Oh no, we're talking with the tax-free gift cards and things like that.
Right,
So yeah, I don't think it's buying from them, you know, in order to facilitate that. Right, I'm going to call it, guys. It's 9:30. Where has that 2.5 hours gone? Do you know?
We didn't even get started. That's
I know. And like Rosie said earlier, you know, I really do. Like I said, I don't want to put you off so much that you don't come back. It's been a minute since, you know, but COVID's got in the way and other things and you know whatnot.
More time though. I have more time though.
Yeah. So can we all just really take the opportunity to thank Mark? You know, someone 9-figure seller, for Mark to spend 2.5 hours with us in terms of what we've talked about. Hope it's delivered, you know, some really good gold nuggets for people. But I just, like I said, I really want people to appreciate what level of time Mark has in his business and how generous he's been with his time here. Because like I said, it's not every day you get a 9-figure seller to come on and talk at the level of transparency that you have. I know we haven't answered every question.
I'll try and answer some of the questions on my next trip I started replying to some of them in the message thing. I'll do the best I can.
I did love someone's comment who said, could you do like a warehouse tour, as an exclusive warehouse tour?
I can't do that, unfortunately. I mean, there's been a few privileged people that has come and had a look around, and they're just a general catch up, but nothing's free is all I can say in this life, right?
And we're still hoping at some point to be able to do something together, to be able to, you know, get you in on, you know, developing that level of business for people, not necessarily the 9-figure, but like I said, talking about the way that you do business, but starting at it.
It has to be offline, because a lot of stuff I just can't tell everybody my business and everything I do, and obviously I've got contracts and legislation and things, but I'm here to help. That's the thing, and because, you know, no one can take away from me what we've got. But if I'm spending time doing something, it's time I'm stealing from my guys, and that's how I look at it. That's why I can do 7 o'clock. We can spend some time. But yeah, it'd be good to do something. But I mean, I wish I could just say to everybody, right, if everyone just pops down on the 20th, I'll just do a warehouse tour. But I mean, maybe we can do a walk around thing, but it's just a warehouse. It's nothing interesting, really. Not compared to the warehouses I mean, I'm not ashamed of my warehouse, but I'm playing at it.
Stop it, Mark. Stop it.
We don't believe it. I'm telling you, they're amazing. Everyone can do that, by the way, if they've not done that. You can do that as a group.
I've never done it. I've never done it. I've never done it.
They advertise it all the time. All the time. You should do it.
What is going on? It's Ray saying let's dance for him. I don't know if that's going to work, Ray. I'm not going to lie. I'm not sure, but yeah, it tells it as it is.
Are you doing the usual Christmas thing? Are you? Everyone gets on for half an hour or something, 15
minutes.
Yeah,
we'll definitely do that.
I'll jump on that.
Cool. All right, yeah, let's do a bit of a Christmas roulette chat. Cool. Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, we'll do that, definitely.
Do that.
For sure. So, Mark, thank you so much for your time. Yes, there is going to be a replay because we've streamed this live to YouTube as well. Actually, the replay will go on almost instantly. I think it takes a couple of hours to propagate or something like that. I don't know. It sounded like I knew what I was talking about.
Maybe the next one we could do. I mean, this is good because it's more like just a catch up in it, and we've not really done much, but we could maybe have it a bit more structured, couldn't we? So people know what's coming on chapters and things. But I think sometimes just a freewheeling chat's the best things as well, right?
Yeah, I love it. I love it. You know, it gets everyone, like I said, everyone gets the opportunity to ask a question, talk to you directly or something like that. Yes, I know not everybody got their questions answered, and I do apologize for that. But I think looking at what people were asking, I think it was covered in some way during the chat. So yes, you are going to have to go back and watch this from the start. If
key pointers, dig in, graft, keep it simple. Doesn't matter how big a seller is. Same principles. Amazon's transparent to everybody else. You can do it. You can do it. And it's just £10 profit a day is £300 a month.
Yeah.
Double it, 600. It's so simple. Yeah. It's so simple. Anyone can do it. There's multiple platforms. Invest in a bit of education and a little bit of software. And instead of maybe buying that takeaway for 25 quid, just that once, pay for some advice, buy a course, or do that 30-day trial on some software. That'll take a lot of admin out. There's so much you can do. Just it's hard to explain depending on what level people are at and where they want to go, right?
Although, Mark, I do think that you have been in the office too long. Takeaways for 25 and Audis for 300. You don't get those for anymore.
Listen, I know I have no idea what I mean. I wish I could afford an Audi, right?
Yeah, exactly. Right, Mark, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Like I said, it's been out of the normal time tonight. We're going to be back next week. Well, Mark's not, unfortunately. God, they'd rather see you here every week than me for sure. So
maybe I'll do a Mark the buy box or something. Just
exactly, Mark buy box, Mark. Beyond Mark's no, God, no, I'm not going to say that. That's a whole different conversation. Yeah,
that's definitely a different channel, right?
Different chat. That is getting into the OnlyFans domain for sure. Right, before I embarrass myself,
that's how I got to 9 figures. That's the thing.
That would be impressive.
Cool. Thanks, Nat.
Right, take care, everyone. I'll see you next week, 1 o'clock Tuesday. Come back next week, guys. Take care. Bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye.